CFAX Victoria,
an iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 6 o'clock on Friday, June 19th. Another sunny, warm day in store for Victoria. Right now we're sitting at 13 degrees. Full forecast to come right now. The news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Thanks, Ryan. Good morning. We begin with that game in Vancouver. Canada's decisive 6-0 win over Cotter in the showdown on the pitch at BC Place has downtown Vancouver, the party central place in Canada. The Granville pedestrian zone saw the streets packed shoulder to shoulder in a sea of red and white solidarity, with colored smoke filling the air as the crowd chanted and shouted in the moments after the last whistle yesterday afternoon. Ryan will unpack fully the game in sports for you. We'll have all the details coming up. That excitement. Only about a dozen active wildfires burning in BC as of this morning. No new fires on Vancouver Island. Far cry from what we've had in previous years as we head into summer, which arrives tomorrow morning. An evacuation alert covering 742 homes in BC's Okanagan region has also been lifted. Emergency management officials in central Okanagan say the local state of emergency has also been lifted in relation to that Kellamore Park wildfire, the one that triggered evacuations near Kelowna. The BC Wildfire Service says the fire now marked as under control, though residents still have smoke lingering nearby. The public also urged to stay out of neighborhoods affected by wildfires moving forward. And if you see anything that may resemble a wildfire, do not hesitate to call star 5555. The federal luxury tax on cars, planes, and boats yielded more than $900 million before it was rolled back because of concerns of the effects on manufacturers.
An access to information request shows that the tax has been pouring nearly $390 million a year into federal coffers, well over double the Parliamentary Budget Office's forecast. Economist David McDonald says the windfall amounts to a surprise blockbuster hit and shows that authorities underestimated how much wealthy individuals are willing to spend on big-ticket items. Critics say the tax hurts key industries by discouraging purchases. The 2022 tax measure imposed a 10% tax on cars and planes priced over $100,000 and yachts over $250,000. Hannah Stoles, The Canadian Press.
Many small businesses are grappling with whey protein shortages as our demand outpaces supply.
However, there is only so much whey protein the dairy industry can produce, and the shortage has pushed prices significantly higher in recent months. That's leaving many small-scale manufacturers scrambling to reformulate their products or digest the higher costs. After her whey isolate supplier backed out last month, Ailey Swift had to find a new provider for her high-protein waffle and pancake mixes. But she realized the ingredients from the new supplier just didn't taste the same for some of her breakfast options. Rob Westgate, The Canadian Press.
There are new questions about the state of that peace deal between U.S. and Iran, or at least a memorandum of understanding, after Israel carried out more strikes in Lebanon overnight. And a planned signing of the deal in Switzerland that was to happen today has now been delayed. ABC's Karen Hua has the latest.
It comes after the White House announced late last night Vice President J.D. Vance was postponing a planned trip to Switzerland, where he'd been expected to lead the next round of talks on implementing the agreement. The White House saying the trip's plans had not been finalized, calling the negotiations never simple or predictable.
An initial agreement was signed earlier this week between the leaders of both countries. Now, a new poll is revealing what Americans think about Donald Trump's handling of Iran.
Even with President Donald Trump's suggesting that a deal with Iran to end the war had been reached, most Americans still disapprove of how he's handling the issue. About 65% of Americans surveyed by the Associated Press and the New York Center for Public Affairs Research disapprove of how Trump is handling Iran. But when looking at just Republicans, only 28% are unhappy. The poll was fielded as Trump announced a deal with Iran and authorized an end to the U.S. naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. I'm Donna Warder.
In health news, new evidence on the benefits of exercise.
You know working up a sweat is good for your health, but figuring out the best exercise routine can be a challenge. To figure out the best way to get fit, researchers studied nearly 100,000 people, tracking their level of vigorous exercise and the risk of disease over time. Even brief bursts of physical activity like sprinting to catch the bus or a brisk stair climb made a difference, according to the researchers. Compared with people who did not do any strenuous movement, those with the highest levels saw up to a 60% decrease decrease in risk of inflammatory conditions. The kind of exercise that makes you feel out of breath appeared to offer the most benefit, gets your heart pumping, and improves blood flow.
The European Society of Cardiology says a higher percentage of vigorous physical activity led to lower rates of disease and death from any cause. That's your news to 6:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question. We're asking, do you use those loyalty, cashback, discount, or points programs? 30% say yes, quite a few, or many anyway. 65% if say a few. I have a couple cards too. And 5% say nope, don't subscribe. You can vote at CFAX1070.com. Also the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa Best, your news time, 6:06.
Thanks, Lisa, and good morning. Thanks for joining us here on this Friday morning. We've hit the Friday. Just this one last day to go before the weekend, and it's looking sunny. Right now we're at 13 degrees and mostly sunny skies. We will be staying kind of there for the next couple of days, too. Full forecast to come. Right now, over to the sports, and we will start with the World Cup report.
This is your TSN Radio FIFA World Cup 2026 update.
I'm John Rodenberg. History for Canada, which scored its first ever win at the World Cup. Final score, Canada 6, Qatar 0.
There's Jonathan David! What a strike from Jonathan David!
A hat-trick for Jonathan David as Canada outshot Qatar 32-2 in its biggest ever game.
There's going to be 40 million Canadians that claim they were in the stadium today.
That's Canada's coach, Jesse Marsh, who also revealed that Canadian midfielder Ishmael Kone will undergo surgery for a broken leg suffered during the match. Canada and Switzerland top Group B after the Swiss beat Bosnia 4-1. Canada and Switzerland will meet Wednesday with first place in the group on the line. Other games from Thursday. Mexico moved to 2-0 and has already clinched Group A with a 1-0 win over South Korea. Czechia and South Africa tied at 1. Today, the U.S. meets Australia. Scotland plays Morocco, and Brazil battles Haiti. You can watch the FIFA World Cup matches on TSN, CTV, Crave, and streaming at tsn.ca. Listen on the TSN Radio Network with all games streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
Ooh, looking forward to more soccer action. We'll be talking about it coming up, but real quick, I want to just mention some local stuff that's going on. We've got in lacrosse, Victoria Shamrocks with a 14-2 win over the New Westminster Salmon Bellies last night. The Shamrocks improved to 7-1-0 on the season with that win last night as they opened up a 3-game stretch on the road at the historic Queen's Park Arena. Shamrocks continue their season on the road Sunday against the Maple Ridge Burrards. In baseball, Victoria Harbour Cats defeated the Redmond Dudes for the rubber match of the series yesterday. Victoria with a 14-7 win last night. I guess not so much last night, but yesterday morning because they did that game early for the school kids. It does mean they sweep the series against the Dudes, and now the Harbour Cats will hit the road for a weekend series in Port Angeles against the Lefties. That is your CFAX 1070 Sports to 6:09. 10 minutes after 6 here on a Friday morning. Let's look at the traffic and weather. Well, in traffic, it's pretty easy going right now. No crashes, no accidents to report. If you see anything, text me at 71010. Let me know how things are looking on the roads. But usual construction-related delays downtown. Bay Street Bridge, I think, is open again. But if you see otherwise, let me know at 71010 because that overnight closure was...
It actually didn't close last night.
So there's no closure. So they didn't have to do that.
They changed it. City changed it. So no closure last night.
That's why it's open. Okay. That makes sense then. Because I'm like, why is it open? Weren't they supposed to be closed? That makes sense. Over to the BC Ferries 7 o'clock sailing. We have at Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen lots of space left for vehicles. And for the weather forecasts, mainly sunny today, highs of 24. The usual thing, we're cooler by the water, but we got a bit of humidity back in the air as well. So humidex of 26, feeling like 26 despite the 24 temperature. Tonight, clear skies, lows to 11. Sunshine tomorrow, highs around 20. Sunday, sunshine and highs around 24. It does look like it starts to heat up next week, though. We'll get temperatures pushing into the mid to high 20s once we hit Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But fairly moderate, but lovely over the weekend. Right now, by the way, it is 13 degrees. Opening bells for North American stock markets will be ringing a little later this hour. In the meantime, let's take a look at how yesterday closed with Aaron Sousa.
Losses in basic materials and energy dragged down Canada's main stock index yesterday. Toronto's S&P TSX was down 155 to 34,969. In New York, the Dow was up 72 points and the Nasdaq rose by 496. This morning in Tokyo, the Nikkei gained 196, but the Hang Seng in Hong Kong lost 387. Our dollar is trading at around 70 cents US. An Ontario judge is set to rule today in the sexual assault trial of billionaire Frank Stronach. He's pleaded not guilty to multiple charges dating back decades. Some charges were dropped during the trial, leaving 5 related to 3 complainants. Federal data shows the luxury tax on big-ticket cars, planes, and yachts brought in over $900 million before being rolled back. One economist says Ottawa underestimated spending by wealthy buyers. And Flair Airlines pilots have reached a tentative 3-year contract. Their union says it covers pay and work conditions after 10 months of talks. Pilots will vote on the deal soon. From the Canadian Press Business Desk, I'm Aaron Sousa.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for joining us on this Friday in Victoria. I'm Ryan. We got Lisa on the news desk. Good morning, Lisa. How are you?
I feel like I went to a wedding yesterday.
Oh, man. I hope everybody's having the same sort of sense of, I don't know, like everybody was at the same party yesterday.
It's like afterglow.
Yeah.
We feel rosy. We feel vindicated.
We're talking about the World Cup match in Vancouver at BC Place Stadium, where Canada won its first ever game at a World Cup in dramatic fashion with that 6-0 win over Qatar. Mm-hmm. Here is one factoid I saw out of the game, which I think really drives home how into it everybody got.
Okay.
So at BC Place Stadium, there's a video screen that they have that thing where a lot of sports games will put up the decibel meter for the
for the sound.
Yeah, for the sound. Like, how enthusiastic are you? You're this many decibels loud and excited.
It sounded loud.
So at one point, the decibel meter on that big jumbotron showed 149 decibels. Now, I'd like to give you some context for that because, what does that number mean?
Right. How loud is that?
A jet taking off is 120 to 130.
We were louder than a jet taking off. Okay.
Fireworks exploding is 140 decibels. We were, like I said, at beyond that, it is considered so loud that unprotected exposure can cause immediate permanent hearing damage.
Immediate? I don't think too many people in the crowd were wearing earplugs, so...
Well, that's just what the internet tells me. But anyways, it was that exciting in the stadium. It got 149 decibels exciting yesterday.
Did we cause any kind of seismic shift?
Because I wonder. That would be really fun.
Sometimes we actually can create, a small... feel like an earthquake. I guess we weren't pounding our feet, but Now,
I have a really interesting question for you, Lisa, because I was watching the game. You listened on CFAX 1070 because, of course, we broadcast the game on the radio. How did the radio experience go for you?
Fantastic.
Yeah?
Theater of the mind. I was with them on the field when that player went down. I was with them when they were like, wait a minute, get up again. Get up. You're not getting up. What's wrong with you?
Why aren't you getting up?
You're seriously injured. And then, the crowd going wild when they took him off in the stretcher. and the other player coming over and giving him condolences. Just all of it. I could hear all of it, and the theater of the mind was fantastic. I'm really glad we decided to cover the game.
Great that it was on the radio.
Right?
And
I could even hear Steve way in the background cheering because Steve was in the crowd.
He was.
Sports guy Steve, who is now soccer guy Steve for the duration.
Soccer guy Steve. I texted him too. I texted him in the second hydration break when we were up like 4-0, 5-0 or something, and I was like, "You picked the right game to go to, Steve." And he wrote back that he was, quote, low on worry.
That's interesting. I didn't want to text him too many times. I was trying to live vicariously a little bit, but I didn't want to text him too many times because I didn't want to, to pull him away from the game at all. But I don't know. I like the idea of the hydration break because it just reminds you to go get a beer now.
Well, that's true. There you go.
I thought, that's very kind of you.
It is nice to have a chance to get up and go to the fridge. That is true. I like it. Well, hey, I'd love to talk more about the soccer game, some of the big moments you thought really stood out to you. So if you want to join the conversation as we just kind of relive yesterday, 71010 is how you join. Get into that in just a moment. Right now, the news headlines at 6:16 with Lisa.
Thank you. The federal and BC governments linking up, announcing billions in combined investments yesterday to spur housing development and infrastructure. It includes building a new high school for Tumbler Ridge, that site of the mass shooting earlier this year in February. While on a construction site in Vancouver yesterday, prior to getting to that big game, Prime Minister Mark Carney called the plan a landmark new agreement to build more homes and modernize infrastructure here on the West Coast. The partnership includes spending more than $5 billion on BC infrastructure, $3.2 billion to lower development charges for multi-unit housing, so people have roofs over their heads, and $284 million to reduce barriers for new construction. The talks scheduled for today between the U.S. and Iran have now been called off. They were to ink some deals in Geneva, Switzerland. Negotiators from both countries were scheduled to discuss implementing that 14-point agreement that the U.S. president signed in France this week at the G7. The White House now says it looks forward to beginning the talks as soon as possible. No idea what that means yet. The BC SPCA Lock-In for Love could use a little of yours. There had a lot of teams register, but donations could be healthier. Today is a matching donation day, one day only for the fundraiser to help local animals in need find a new home. So every dollar you donate is matched up to $20,000 thanks to Hills Pet Nutrition. To search or to help out, just search BC SPCA Lock-In for Love. Check them out online and pick the Victoria location so you know it goes to local animals. And that is your news to 617.
Give us a text at 71010 if you want to talk about your thoughts on Canada's first ever win at a World Cup of Soccer game.
And are you into soccer now? Because I got to say, I kind of dabbled, but boy, I thought it on that bandwagon really quick.
Lisa is suddenly a soccer fan.
I don't know much, but I'm getting there.
Yeah. This texter at 71010 says, gotta say, I'm not really a soccer fan either.
Yeah.
But I watched it for a bit, and when I had to drive somewhere, I listened.
Cool.
On the radio. That's great. And when Canada scored, I beeped my horn. What a game.
Very cool.
Lots of that going on yesterday. Let us know how you took it in and what you thought at 71010 right after traffic and weather next. Hey, the CFAX Morning Show is brought to you by Bluebird Cabs. Need a cab? Download the new Bluebird Cabs app at Bluebird Cabs Ltd. They're proudly local and Canadian-owned and run since 1946. Okay, let's get to the traffic and weather. As Lisa was mentioning, they ended up calling off the overnight Bay Street Bridge closure, so there's no closure right now. Things are flowing freely in both directions over what is formerly known as the Point Ellis Bridge. No other crashes or problems right now, so we're looking good. Text me at 71010 if you do see anything. For BC Ferries, no sailing waits, and for the weather, it is going to be just kind of sunny and pleasant all weekend. We've got today a high of 24, a little cooler by the water, but feeling a little warmer with just a touch of mugginess to the air. For overnight tonight, clear skies and lows to 11. Tomorrow, sunny, temperatures around 20 degrees. Could start seeing a little bit of breeze around about midday tomorrow, but it's not going to be anything too crazy, just a touch on the windy side by the water. Sunday, sunshine, highs of 24 with cooler temperatures by the water. And the long-range forecast into next week suggesting we're going to get even warmer once we hit about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, with temperatures kind of getting into the mid to high 20s once we start the week.
Let's get started.
Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
That's the sound just outside of BC Place yesterday. Yeah, that wasn't even in the stadium. That was outside the stadium.
That's what I was wondering about. Did we set off a mini earthquake?
Yeah, really. That is, wow, just a lot of enthusiasm on display with a 52,000 strong crowd inside BC Place Stadium to watch Canada's first ever win in a World Cup over Qatar. There was, of course, even more people outside at viewing parties and listening parties and all kinds of gatherings. Yeah, just what a day.
And
BC on display.
Everyone in red, too.
Yeah, it was neat to see.
Which was really interesting to see, not just in the stadium itself, but outside in Granville. It was crazy. And the positivity was off the chart, too. I mean, police have been saying there's little bad acting going on. Everyone's pretty much in a good mood and behaving themselves.
There were so many just interesting moments, too, because as a bunch of the commentators would point out yesterday, I'm talking about, on the pitch now.
Correct.
Since Canada historically hasn't done great at the World Cup, and we've only ever been twice. We went in the 80s and then back in the last World Cup in 2022, and we've never even won a game. So this, as we mentioned, our first ever win.
Yeah.
But we've also never done a bunch of things. So it was everything that happened yesterday was a historic first of some kind. The first hat trick, the first this, the first that, because this was just this big moment. Not all of them good, though. I think one of the moments that really stood out to me, although it did turn into a bit of a positive in a sense, and I'll explain, but I'm talking about that broken leg. Let's talk about that for a second, because I think that moment really stood out for a lot of reasons. This is when, in the second half, midfielder for Canada, Ishmael Kone.
Yes.
He has a little encounter with one of the Qatari players, goes down. It's not clear immediately that there's anything serious happened, because, sometimes the soccer players will kind of go down and act like they've...
Well, that's the boy who cried wolf syndrome. And so we're all sitting going,
like, just get up, you're
fine.
Come
on, what's going on here?
But then he doesn't get up. And then, of course, as time goes on, he gets rushed by the medics. The tension builds. It is a serious injury, it turns out. He's rushed to the hospital. This is... but on his way out...
Yes.
When he's being carried up on the stretcher...
Yes.
He's up, he's waving at the crowd. He almost, I don't know if they did this on purpose, but it felt like he kind of took a little extra lap to get out, and as he was carried out. And he's waving. The applause is happening.
Yes.
And then the guy who substitutes on for him, his name is Nathan Saliba, he scores.
Moments later.
And what does he do? He runs over to the side and he grabs Kone's jersey.
I know.
And holds it up with this gesture that's like, this one's for you. What drama? You couldn't write that. Like, that was just this, goosebump moment for sure. I can't believe the way that played out. The storyline there, insane. Even the Prime Minister who visited the team in the dressing room, because if you're watching the broadcast or listening on CFAX, lots of mentions of like, oh, there's the Prime Minister. He's in attendance here.
Yes.
He went to the dressing room afterwards and he saluted that moment.
It's in moments like that that you see character, the real team. He applauds the fans coming off. He shakes the hands of the Qataris coming off. Saliba comes on, steps up, scores. You hold up his jersey.
Yeah, that's that moment. One of the moments that stood out to me.
Yes.
What stood out to you? Text us at 71010 and let us know. We'll be asking sports guy / soccer guy Steve that very question. He's going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour.
Tired but happy.
He was there. I really want to hear from him what it was like to be in that room. It did feel like a bit of Canadian history got made.
And he was debating coming back right away. I wonder if he did. I wonder if he stayed.
Oh, well, we'll see. Have to see.
I don't know if he's still across the pond or if he's back on the rock. We'll have to find out. But I'm also curious to know how many of us watched that game yesterday or listened to that game yesterday, and how many people will be tuning in on Wednesday.
Yeah,
based on how they performed.
The hype train, here it comes. And just for full context,
Yes.
although I think a lot of people have caught on to all of this because it was talked about. If you were paying attention to the game yesterday, you heard all this chatter. But what does this mean overall for Canada at the World Cup? Well,
Right.
we're in the group stage where we've got a group of players we're grouped with. We all play each other, that group, before you move on to the knockout stages. So we've now tied our first game.
Okay.
This game we won, and we won big with 6-0 the score.
Does the score matter?
Yes, it does. And
Okay, silly question, but...
And I'll tell you why it matters. And then we play Switzerland in the third game, because that's the other team in our group.
Okay.
So that game's going to be next Wednesday.
Right.
And there was a big talk about that score, because one of the things that happens is if you tie in this group, like say Canada...
1-1 kind of thing?
Say we tie Switzerland in this last game.
Okay.
That means for just points, because you get 3 points for a win and 1 point for a tie, and then, like the guy with the most points, or the team with the most points, wins the group.
Right.
If you have a tie where you have the same amount of points, the goal differential is what breaks the tie.
Oh.
And since Canada got a scoreline of 6-0 yesterday,
Correct.
we now easily have the best goal differential in our group.
We win.
In fact, we might have one of the best goal differentials in the whole tournament. I don't know that for sure, but we certainly are up there, if nothing else, because that was one heck of a score yesterday.
Yes.
So with that, we would, even if we just have a tie against Switzerland in the final game, that would be enough for us to win the group. Or if we win against Switzerland, we would win the group as well. So that's what this means for us. And if
I was trying to keep track there, but in other words, we're on top right now.
yeah, if we lose to Switzerland, maybe that's in question. But we could have a win or a draw in our last game coming up next Wednesday, and any of those scenarios now get us top of the group, and we would move on with a favorable position.
Well, that all sounds very positive.
Yeah, that was just a really cool outcome for Canada, considering we've never won a World Cup game, and now we might be in position to top the group. That's really cool.
We did it in Vancouver.
Yeah, on home soil.
We did it on the West Coast. We had 52,000 and change watching live. We had millions of eyes on it from around the world. I mean, what a way to hit the world stage once again. I mean, Vancouver, obviously, port city. I mean, it's been on the radar a number of times, but we have just refreshed everything. Yeah. I mean, this will help tourism, I think, in the end.
Hopefully, yeah.
We'll see what the numbers say, but fingers crossed. It puts Canada in a very good light and puts us more, positions us on the map as a place to be.
More coverage coming up in sports. We've also got the 6:30 news coming up next. Lisa with all the other top stories of the day. It's all here on the CFAX Morning Show. But yeah, go Canada.
An iHeartRadio experience. You and a pal in Montreal at Osheaga with 4 nights at Residence Inn downtown Montreal. Flights from Porter Airlines, 2 weekend gold tickets, and $1,000 cash.
Please welcome
Lord, Zara Larson, T. McRae, Somber, 21 Pilots, and more. Download iHeartRadio. Listen to this station for 10 minutes and enter to win Osheaga 2026. Every day you listen is another chance to win.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 6:31 on this Friday, June 19th. Another sunny, warm day in store for Victoria right now, sitting at 13 degrees. Full forecast to come, but right now the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Well, he came for the game, and he also left some cash with us. Prime Minister Mark Carney says the federal and BC governments are pledging $100 million each to build a new high school in Tumbler Ridge and also modernize the community's healthcare centre.
BC Premier David Eby promised last month that students wouldn't have to return to the school, which was the site of a mass shooting in February. The Prime Minister says he and the Premier were in Tumbler Ridge after the murders of 8 people and heard from students, parents, and teachers, as well as first responders, on how to help heal from the trauma of the unspeakable tragedy. He says work on the new school will start this summer, beginning with the removal of the existing school. John Kennedy, the Canadian Press.
On top of that, the partnership includes spending more than $5 billion on BC infrastructure in total, $3.2 billion to lower development charges for multi-unit housing, to build more homes, and $284 million to reduce barriers for new construction. While on the construction site in Vancouver, the Prime Minister called the plan a landmark new agreement to build homes and modernize infrastructure. And that means without him in Ottawa, the Parliament has risen for the summer. They did it a day early.
Canadians will continue to ask, where are the results, while the Prime Minister continues to hide.
When the spring sitting began, Carney had a minority government. But thanks to floor crossers and by-elections, the Liberals secured a majority in April. Asked if he's kept track of how many times the Liberals leveraged their standing to shut down debate, the government House Leader.
I have not. I have bills to pass, work to do.
Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
On the prairies, the Canadian Museum of Human Rights in Winnipeg says the exhibit about Palestinian refugees will go ahead as planned, despite criticism of a potentially one-sided story being told. Museum CEO Aisha Khan says the museum is handling the exhibit responsibly, but Jewish groups have raised concerns that it could fuel anti-Semitism. Noah Shack is the chief executive of the Center of Israel and Jewish Affairs. He says the museum hasn't done enough.
The lack of transparency from the museum, the lack of engagement to try to mitigate these concerns has led to the inevitable conclusion that this has been grossly mishandled.
Khan says the museum has consulted with numerous groups and has committed to telling stories of displaced Jewish communities in the future. There are new questions swirling about the state of that peace deal between the U.S. and Iran, after Israel carried out more strikes in Lebanon overnight, and the planned signing of the deal in Geneva, Switzerland, has been delayed or put on ice. ABC's Mary Bruce has more from the White House.
President Trump has made clear he expects Israel to get on board with this deal, but there is no question this is really testing the president's relationship with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Trump has been increasingly openly frustrated with him, even saying the other day, quote, "Without me, there would be no Israel."
So far, all we know at this point is plans for the next phase of peace negotiations between the U.S. and Iran have been delayed, and the U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance's trip to Switzerland for that signing ceremony was called off last minute. Also stateside in Washington, D.C., those renovations aren't taking well. National Park Service employees spent yesterday trying to clean up the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool days after it was painted a hue called American Flag Blue. The bottom of the pool, that is, at the direction of the U.S. President. The water turned bright green from algae. On top of that, the new paint starting to peel.
Washington's iconic reflecting pool looking dirty and green less than 2 weeks after the president announced its $14 million renovation was complete. Workers could be seen wading through the pool to clean out algae and dirt.
I want my money back after seeing this. I think that it was a huge waste of money to begin with, and I think our resources could be used a lot better elsewhere.
No comment yet from the White House. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And Taylor Swift's new song, I Knew It, I Knew You, is featured in Toy Story 5 in theaters today. It's going to be a hit. On the red carpet for the premiere, the world premiere, she says, like so many other people her age, she's been a fan of the franchise for her entire life.
It means so much to me to actually be a part of this film in some small way, just because it's such an incredible world of imagination and playfulness and mischief and humor and comedy and tragedy. It's raised so many kids just like me. Like, I watched Toy Story when I was 5, and I've watched every single one of the films so many times.
Doesn't hurt that the new song is also a hit on charts, too. And that's your news to 6:36. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking, do you use loyalty, cashback, discount, or points programs? 65% say they have a few cards, 30% use a lot, and 5% nope, don't touch them. You can vote at CFAX1070.com or the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time 6:37.
Thanks, Lisa. We have a sunny day and a sunny weekend ahead of us with fairly nice temperatures. 24 today, 20 tomorrow, and an overnight low of 11. That's the quick look. I'll give you the full forecast in a moment. Right now, over to the sports. And as we've been talking about, the World Cup of Soccer saw the Fever sweep over Vancouver yesterday as the city hosted its first home team match in the FIFA tournament between Canada and Qatar. It was a 6-0 win for Canada, and fans at the arena and at the watch parties erupted with all those goals. And this fan from Toronto, his name is Josh, who was in Vancouver speaking to reporters, says it was one of the greatest atmospheres he's ever been in.
The boys passed the ball phenomenally. Like, the movement of the guys everywhere on the field was brilliant. Like, I haven't seen that before with Canada, and it's just so nice to see them move the ball like that and dominate a game. Amazing. Just best experience right now of my life.
The Canada-Qatar match was the second of 7 World Cup matches that'll be held at BC Place Stadium after the tournament's debut back on Saturday between Australia and Turkey. Over to other sports that are going on. We got lots of stuff happening, actually. The BC Lions are set to visit the Hamilton Tiger Cats tonight in CFL action. BC coming off a season-opening loss at Saskatchewan last week, falling 31-27. And by the way, we will be broadcasting that BC Lions game this afternoon, so we're the home again for Lions on the radio. For the lacrosse, Victoria Shamrocks on the road. They had a 14-2 win over the New Westminster Salmon Bellies last night. That means the Shamrocks improved to a 7-1-0 record on the season with last night's win, which opened up a 3-game road stretch. The Shamrocks continue their season on Sunday on the road still. That's against the Maple Ridge Burrards, and then they got a stop in Burnaby on June 26th. In baseball, Victoria Harper-Cats defeated the Redmond Dudes for the rubber match of the series. Victoria with a 14-7 win yesterday, which means they sweep the whole series against the Dudes. The Harper-Cats will now hit the road for a weekend series in Port Angeles against the Lefties. And the Toronto Blue Jays back in action this afternoon as they visit the Cubs in Chicago for 3 games. Toronto capped a 3-game sweep of the Red Sox yesterday with a 4-3 win in Boston. That is your sports. It's 6:39.
You worked hard in your garden. Don't let the deer turn it into a buffet. Protect your backyard with fencing options from Borden Mercantile on Borden Street near Quadra and Mackenzie.
CFAX at 70 traffic and weather at 6:41. Nothing on the roads to complain about right now. No crashes. Unless you see something I don't know about, you can text me at 71010. But things are looking pretty smooth right now. No delays yet out of the West Shore into Victoria. You got a smooth, clear highway. If you're taking the Trans-Canada or if you're coming down the Souk Road Island Highway route, not much to speak of there either. For the BC Ferries, no sailing waits for the weather forecast today. It is going to be a sunny day for the most part. There's a few clouds here and there, but mostly sunny. Highs at 24, a little humid still with a humidex of 26, so feeling like 26 in the humidity, and a little cooler if you're by the water. Clear skies tonight, lows to 11, sunshine tomorrow, bit of breeze, highs at 20, so a little bit cooler tomorrow with a clear sky and lows to 11 overnight Saturday into Sunday. Then for Sunday, sunshine and highs up to 24. That's Father's Day. Beautiful day to get out there with Dad, whatever it is you're doing. And then it gets even warmer into next week as I get into the long-range forecast. Monday beyond, looks like we creep up into the high 20s as a temperature, at least for the first few days of next week. What's going on temperature-wise around the region right now? Let's go to the Highlands. We don't talk about the Highlands enough. It's 11 degrees there right now. And for the University of Victoria area around Saanich Bay, 16 degrees there. On North American stock markets, opening bells have just been ringing out, so we don't have any results from the day just yet. So let's take a look at how yesterday closed. In Toronto, S&P TSX was down 155 to 34,969. The Dow in New York up 72 to 51,564. The Nasdaq gained 496 to 26,517. Canadian dollar is at 70.6 cents US, which is still down a little bit from yesterday's close.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
We've been talking about the World Cup, the Canadian win over Qatar 6-0 yesterday, and listeners are weighing in on their take of the game. Let's see. This texter at 71010 says, "Happy Friday, Ryan and Lisa. I'm old enough to remember what it was like when Victoria hosted the 1994 Commonwealth Games." Yeah, I was there too.
Okay.
The worries and the complaints were the same as they approached, and then how much fun we had once they were here. The World Cup seems a bit like that. And after that game yesterday, I'm having fun. That's from Chris.
That's good.
Thanks for texting. Yeah, because there's still a lot of, hand-wringing over the cost, and I think those are still valid complaints.
Yeah.
But, now that you're in it, and, Canada's seeing some history being made and the country's kind of coming together. It's kind of fun to see that, regardless. And it's not to invalidate all the complaints and the concerns, which are still, very real. It can be two things at once. It can be awesome as well.
Well, winning helps.
Yeah.
Losing doesn't.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And the fact that we, this game, we put ourselves on the map in a big way means everything. Yeah. It really does. It builds team spirit. It builds interest in the sport. It builds Canada's profile, and it's great to win.
Yeah,
and we're feeling that today.
I think you put it perfectly. It is good to win. 7-10-10 if you want to weigh in. Another thing that's happening here in Victoria, at least, is Jazz Fest.
Sure is.
TD Victoria International Jazz Fest. I get to go introduce the Miles Davis cover band that's coming up tonight.
Tribute band?
Yeah, the tribute band, which actually features a relative of one of the original members of Miles Davis's band. So that's going to be coming up tonight at the Royal Theatre, and I'm going to be there to introduce it. I'm looking forward to going.
Nice.
If you want to go to some of the shows, we got another 4-pack of tickets to give away in the 8 o'clock hour. If you scat for us, we're doing this thing where I got some jazz drums. I'll play some drums. Actually, I'll give you a sense of what that sounds like.
Good. It's
going to sound like this. And then you got to do the jazz scatting, right?
Right.
Where you go, just what Lisa did.
Just a little bit of that.
Just do that.
You do it. You could do it really strong, like Ella Fitzgerald, Burton Cummings. Whoever your favorite scat artist is.
Yeah. There's no wrong answer.
No.
You just got to call in when we give you the cue after the 8 o'clock news and sports and traffic and weather and all that. If you call in and if you scat for us, I'll give you our final 4-pack of tickets to Jazz Fest. So that's coming up in the 8 o'clock hour.
Nice.
Right now it's 6:45. Over to the headlines with Lisa.
Royal Roads University and BCIT are teaming up a new partnership focusing on making it easy and more affordable to upgrade your skills and get more credentials. Royal Roads will deliver programs at BCIT's Burnaby campus, while BCIT will offer programs at the John Horgan campus in Langford. A joint statement on the agreement creates two-way paths between the institutions, streamlining the situation for students to build existing credentials, move between programs, and reskill and upskill throughout their careers. A senior economist with Farm Credit Canada says the dairy industry is not geared to keep up with the demand amid global whey protein shortages. You could say the cows are tired, but consumer demand is outpacing supply in recent months, and prices have risen sharply as a result. And Graham Crosby says because whey is a byproduct of the cheese-making process, making more isn't easy to just simply crank up production. He says facilities that produce cheese are capital intensive and require significant time and money to bring production online. And the new poll from the U.S. has found that despite a deal to end the conflict with Iran, most Americans continue to disapprove of the U.S. president's handling of the situation. The AP Norc poll on just how unpopular this 3-month-long war has been, even as Donald Trump has flip-flopped between threatening Iran and reopening negotiations with the Islamic Republic. About 2/3 of American adults surveyed, 65%, disapprove with how he handled things in the Middle East. However, his overall presidential rating is holding steady at 37%. Still, that's far from a majority. And that is your news to 647.
Texter at 71010 says, soccer emoji. And then I heard that immediately after Canada's win yesterday, many people have suddenly taken Wednesday off.
Well, that's it, because yesterday's game was a bit of a matinee at 3.
Yeah.
So we had some time to recover if you had to go to work on Friday.
Yeah.
But I know the streets are pretty quiet yesterday afternoon here.
Yeah, everybody was at the
Hunkered
game.
down.
Next Wednesday, that'll be Canada's next match. That's the one against Switzerland. It's a midday game. And
okay.
But yeah, I went to the farmer's market in Esquimalt yesterday. And
it's quiet.
It was. So there's this particular baker I like to go to see, and you usually have to big lineup. It usually takes me a long time to finally fight through the line and get there. Nobody. I walked right up to the baker, and I was like, "Hey, this is the first time that's ever happened."
You felt like a rock star.
And she's like, "Yeah, it's the game, isn't it?"
Oh wow. Okay, so remember, support your soccer and your local farmer market.
By the time,
markets. They both need your love.
This was after the game because the game ended around 5, and then
Everybody
I wandered
was
over.
tired.
But after I left, it was certainly picking up. I think everybody was kind of emerging into the world after the game yesterday.
Yeah, we
and that was
shut
fun.
Canada down for a little while there.
Hey, we're going to talk about some of the other things going on. Actually, yesterday with the Prime Minister in town for the soccer game, we also saw him with the Premier announcing a funding partnership aiming to get more housing and infrastructure built. And then also in the BC political arena, we had a lot of news about hydroelectric dams this week that I want to talk about. So we're going to have the legislative reporter with the Vancouver Sun, Alec Lazenby, join us next to just sort of run down some of the big news on the provincial front this week. That's after traffic and weather next.
CFAX, Santa's Anonymous.
Hey, grown-ups, you know, the ones still kids at heart.
Through the Kids Count Children's Grant Program powered by CFAX Santa's Anonymous, local kids are getting help with summer camp fees, food security, and mental wellness support.
Where do you see kids needing the most support?
Access to healthy, fresh food through the summer.
Visit CFAXSantas.com right now and give directly to the cause that matters most to you.
Kids Count.
Powered by CFAX Santa's Anonymous.
To find out how you can help, visit CFAXSantas.com.
CFAX at 70 traffic and weather. By the way, the whole morning show here brought to you by Thrifty Foods. This Saturday, which is tomorrow, from 10 in the morning until 1, the first 200 kids aged 12 and under are invited to decorate a free brownie for dads at all locations. Of course, Father's Day is coming up on Sunday. Okay, what's happening on the roads? Not much, actually. It's fairly clear out there. Not a lot of volume off of the West Shore commute coming into the core area of Victoria and beyond. So if you see a problem, let me know. But right now, it's just clear as a bell. There was no overnight closure of the Bay Street Bridge, so we have that moving fully. Even though that was on the schedule, they called it off. So Bay Street Bridge moving in both directions right now. And then the other road work will still be happening in the city of Victoria. We've got the bike lane installation on Cook Street southbound from Hillside to Bay, and then that full closure right around Pandora. That'll still be affecting things on Cook Street as an example of some of the construction projects. You got the gas main stuff on Quadra by Caledonia. All of those things will be playing out again today as well. For the weather forecast, that is going to be great. Sunny today, a few clouds, but mostly sunny. Highs of 24, cooler by the water, but feeling a little humidity. Humidex of 26. That's what it'll feel like. Clear skies tonight, lows down to 11. Then tomorrow, sunshine, highs of 20, cooler by the water. Sunday, sunshine, highs of 24, also cooler by the water. Right now in Victoria, the temperatures, well, depending on where you are a bit different. If you're in View Royal, let's talk about View Royal. It's 15 degrees right now. And in Shawnigan Lake, it is 11 degrees.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, let's take a look at this real quick. We are trying to get Alec Lazenby from the Vancouver Sun on the phone line, but we haven't quite been able to connect. So I'll just tell you really quickly about one of the stories that we were going to talk about, because I do think it's interesting, and I've been trying to find a way to talk about this all week. I think it's interesting to hear that BC is considering new hydroelectricity capacity with a new dam project near Revelstoke, which is being considered. So BC Hydro wants to optimize its existing power facilities, add more thousands of megawatts of capacity, and increase electricity capacity by 7%. The energy minister this week saying the increased capacity will be achieved through a new dam project in Revelstoke, other upgrades at sites through the province. He says construction has begun on a new generating unit in Revelstoke already, with other units to be modernized. The province says the project is expected to provide around 180 jobs in that region. So that was some news this week as we continue to try to find new sources of power in BC. Another texter at 71010 says, "Hey, Ryan and Lisa, any news on BC being the only province to approve buying hearing aids without a prescription?" I did see this in the news yesterday. I think we have done this. Adults in BC with perceived mild to moderate hearing loss can legally purchase over-the-counter hearing aids without a prescription, without a hearing test or an audiologist visit. Mm-hmm. That's a change, Lisa, that's been made.
I think that's a fantastic change. With hearing loss being prevalent, we always have earbuds in our ears, and beyond that, just general noise. But just to be able to fast track it and to be able to try hearing aids without having to go through all the hoops to get the prescription and get diagnosed, I think that's a bit of a game changer for, audiology in the province.
Now, there was a note as well along with this that, the BC health officials still recommend get a hearing test still, get an audiologist to just check things out.
And those are free.
Yeah.
To get.
Because if you are experiencing hearing loss, maybe there's a reason, maybe there's a medical issue, maybe there's something going on that would be good to get checked out.
That's a good point.
So they're saying, don't completely ignore the fact that you should get your ears checked, but at least you've got that removing that barrier to buying the hearing aid. You don't have to go through the prescription process anymore in BC. So yeah, texter, that's what I know. I don't know a ton, but that's the sort of top line level information I've got. So if you can go to store, just buy them now. I think that's the bottom line.
Certain ones, yeah, that's good because they're expensive. So be prepared for sticker shock the more you go up in quality.
Yeah. There you go. That is what's happening for that story. We also are going to be giving away those Jazz Fest tickets, like I mentioned, coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. So that is going to be
scat-worthy.
Yes, where you scat. You call it scat. So I was just, since we got a moment here, I was going to give you one more example.
Okay.
This was Patty from earlier this week. Love loved it. That was so good.
It's really good. It's really good with what people come up with. And you got to know how to scat. We want to hear your best scat. Scat singing.
Doesn't have to be good. It just has to be scat.
Well, sometimes bad is good.
Exactly.
It sounds crazy, but we just want to hear you give your best shot at it. And it's worth it for the tickets because there's going to be a lot of people scatting on stage for the next 10 days.
Totally. Exactly. So that is what you'll have to do coming up a little later in the show, just after 8 o'clock, if you want to win the Jazz Fest tickets that we'll be giving away this week. Today, by the way, it's 4 tickets to Isaiah Collier, who plays on June 24th as part of the TD Victoria International Jazz Fest.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So that's all coming up. We'll take a break, though, right now because we got to get caught up on the news. Lisa's got your 7 o'clock report. I've got your sports and weather, including, and more as we talk about the big World Cup win for Canada yesterday, 6-0 over Qatar. We'll continue to cover that coming up in the sports. We got a beautiful weather forecast for the whole weekend, including Father's Day that's coming up on Sunday. It's all to come next.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It is 7 o'clock on Friday, June 19th, a sunny day with a few clouds and a high of 24. Cooler by the water, but feeling warmer in today's humidity. It's 13 right now. Over to the news, and here is Lisa Best.
Controversy on the prairies. The Canadian Museum of Human Rights says an exhibit about displaced Palestinians will go ahead as planned, despite deep criticism of a potentially one-sided story being told.
The exhibit opens June 27th and focuses on people affected by the Nabka, Arabic for catastrophe, when 750,000 Palestinians were forcibly displaced in 1948 during fighting over control of what is now Israel. Jewish groups have raised concerns about the exhibit, saying it could fuel anti-Semitism by not providing more historical context. They've also criticized the museum for a lack of consultation and transparency during the exhibit's development. The museum's Aisha Khan says it's important to tell the stories of displaced Palestinian Canadians and that the exhibit is being handled responsibly. She says the exhibit isn't trying to tell the whole history of the time and that the museum has committed to telling stories of displaced Jewish people in the future. John Kennedy, The Canadian Press.
Only about a dozen wildfires active in BC this morning. No new fires to note on Vancouver Island, which is strange heading into the month of summer. Usually we have a lot more than that. An evacuation alert covering 742 homes in the Okanagan region has now been lifted. Emergency management officials in that area say the local state of emergency has also been lifted in relation to the Calamara fire that at one point triggered evacuations near Kelowna. The BC Wildfire Service says the fire is now marked as under control, although may be lingering smoke in the region. You're also urged to stay away out of neighborhoods affected by a fire, and that particular regional park remains closed. The federal luxury tax on cars, planes, and boats yielded more than $900 million. This before it was rolled back due to concerns about the effects on manufacturers.
An access to information request shows that the tax has been pouring nearly $390 million a year into federal coffers, well over double the Parliamentary Budget Office's forecast. Economist David McDonald says the windfall amounts to a surprise blockbuster hit and shows that authorities underestimated how much wealthy individuals are willing to spend on big-ticket items. Critics say the tax hurts key industries by discouraging purchases. The 2022 tax measure imposed a 10% tax on cars and planes priced over $100,000 and yachts over $250,000. Hannah Stoles, The Canadian Press.
Cows are busy, but not busy enough. Many small businesses grappling with a whey protein shortage as we're demanding too much for the supply chain.
However, there is only so much whey protein the dairy industry can produce, and the shortage has pushed prices significantly higher in recent months. That's leaving many small-scale manufacturers scrambling to reformulate their products or digest the higher costs. After her whey isolate supplier backed out last month, Ailey Swift had to find a new provider for her high-protein waffle and pancake mixes. But she realized the ingredients from the new supplier just didn't taste the same for some of her breakfast options. Rob Westgate, The Canadian Press.
Some fans say they're facing steep losses even before they enter a stadium during this World Cup series. ABC's Jim Ryan has more on some ticket snafus that are keeping some spectators behind the wall.
Private reseller StubHub offers what it calls the Fan Protect Guarantee if there's a problem. And
it is a guarantee of a sort,
says Victor Matheson, a sports economist at the College of Holy Cross. Ticket buyers who run into problems are offered new tickets or refunds. But considering the scarcity of World Cup seats,
these fans aren't out money, but they're certainly not in a ticket.
And missing what for many may be a once-in-a-lifetime chance to see World Cup soccer in person. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
AI in focus again, singer Boy George among a growing number of artists who say they're embracing artificial intelligence to re-record their music to own the rights to their old songs. ABC's Stephanie Ramos spoke with the 80s music star.
How do you feel about this new version of Karma Chameleon, this AI version?
I love it. It has all the experience of everything that I've lived through, but with the sort of tone, and the nuance of my voice at 22. And so far, the reaction is that the new version is warmer, because I had to go back in the studio and sing it almost like I was imitating myself.
Definitely sounds a lot different than the Boy George that we knew in the 80s. And that is your news to 7:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking, what's in your wallet? Do you use those loyalty, cashback, discount, or points programs? Perhaps it's an app on your phone. 30% say yes. Quite a few of them have many, actually. 65% say have a couple. And 5%, nope, don't subscribe to the discounts. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com or also on the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa Best, your news time, 7:06.
Thanks, Lisa. Good morning. It's a sunny day today right now for the temperature in Victoria. The official one at the airport's 15 degrees. Will eventually hit a high of about 24. A little cooler by the water. We'll get you the full forecast in just a moment. Right now, over to the CFAX 1070 Sports, a historic moment for Canadian soccer that fans have been waiting for. The first ever World Cup win, and it came in a fairly dramatic fashion, a 6-0 6-0 victory for Canada. And this is striker Kyle Larin, who scored one of the goals yesterday, a couple of them, in fact, with how it all felt.
I guess we just showed the world who Canada is and showed many Canadians they can do what we did. A lot of the players came from nowhere to basically, and we showed we can make this level and play on the world stage. We're just getting started.
Outside BC Place Stadium, CTV reporter Andrew Johnson was taking a look at the fan reaction.
Jonathan David, Canada's all-time leading scorer, breaking out of a slump in the most incredible way with a hat trick to send these fans home dancing.
I'm fired up. It was incredible. It was the best thing I've ever seen.
It's unbelievable. Like, the atmosphere, the crowd.
I never thought I would see the World Cup being played in Canada. And now they're through to the next round. It's a statement win. It's just unbelievable. It's incredible.
I was in the Toronto match. Here I am today. I never thought I'd see it. I'm blown away.
Now, the result yesterday puts Canada in a great chance of maybe winning their group in this group stage of the World Cup. So Canada only needs a tie. A win would do it, but also a tie against Switzerland in the final game next Wednesday would be enough for Canada to win the group. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, quick look at some other sports, though, because there's lots going on. BC Lions are set to visit the Hamilton Tiger Cats tonight in CFL action, and we will be carrying the game on CFAX 1070. That's this afternoon. And then for lacrosse, Victoria Shamrocks on the road. They had a 14-2 win over the New Westminster Salmon Bellies last night. Shamrocks improved to 7-1-0 on the season with that. In baseball, Victoria Harbour Cats defeating the Redmond Dudes for the rubber match yesterday of the series, and Victoria comes out with the 14-7 win, which means they sweep the series, and the Harbour Cats now hit the road for a weekend series in Port Angeles against the Lefties. Toronto Blue Jays are back in action this afternoon as they visit the Cubs in Chicago for a 3-game series. Toronto capped off a 3-game sweep of the Red Sox yesterday with a 4-3 win in Boston. Kevin Gausman is scheduled to start for the Jays tonight, while the Cubs are sending Ben Brown to the mound, and that is your sports to 7:09. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Tomorrow, from 10 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon, the first 200 kids aged 12 and under are invited to decorate a free brownie for Dad at all locations. So that's Saturday. And then
I kind of went in on that.
Well,
no.
If you...
Simply because I don't have to clean up afterwards.
If you work on a disguise, let's see if we can get
really
you...
Look like a dad.
12, or do you want to be the kid decorating the brownie?
Probably easier for the dad.
I'd take a brownie. If my kids are listening, they're not. But if they're listening, I'll take a brownie.
What is the plan for you for Father's Day?
Oh, actually, that's a good question.
Let's get off track.
My plan is one on the Sunday, the actual Sunday.
Correct.
Me and my kids, we're going to go visit my dad.
Nice.
We're going to have all the dads involved there.
Okay.
But I think leading up to that, we're going to play a game together. We like to play board games together.
Okay,
so
I was wondering because you had that, capital G. Okay, board game. That's fun.
A little board game time with my kids.
Keep
We're going to go see my dad. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, keeping it simple.
Very nice.
And if a brownie shows up from Thrifty Foods, I will not
say no.
complain at all. That'll be A-okay with me. I think this is traffic, though. Are we doing traffic?
I know.
Is that what I'm doing?
I got you into the weeds there. It's my bad.
It's Friday. This is full Friday vibes
back on track here.
Well, what's going on? Well, here's the thing, though. There's not really anything to talk about in traffic because the West Shore commute is looking completely devoid of traffic. There's nothing on the roads. If you're commuting this morning, you're in for a treat because I don't see anything causing you trouble.
You're heading out of town. It's good.
Yeah. The Malahat's looking clear. Pat Bay Highway's looking clear. There's no sailing waits at BC Ferries. Everything's just fine other than, your construction-related delays. But even that, we didn't didn't have the overnight closure of the Bay Street Bridge that was scheduled, but they didn't do it. So it's been no problem there either. For the weather forecast, let's dial in there because that's actually something to talk about, unlike the totally clear traffic.
Short and sweet, too, though.
Yeah, it's just sunny through the weekend. We might see a few clouds here and there, like today, the odd bit of cloud. I'm looking at that right now, kind of out the window. You see a few hazy clouds, but otherwise it's going to be a mainly sunny day. Highs of 24, a bit humid again, so a humidex of 26, but much cooler by the water, 17 degrees if you're by the Wantafuka Strait. Very similar forecast all weekend, maybe slightly cooler on Saturday, but very much going back to the mid-20s on Sunday, and even getting up to the upper 20s by Monday, Tuesday, and maybe even Wednesday of next week. Right now, it's 15 degrees in Victoria. On the markets, S&P TSX in Toronto starting the day up just by 27 points, but it's a bit of a gain after a small drop yesterday. So it is at 34,997. The Dow in New York is up 72 to 51,564, and the Nasdaq is up 496 to 26,517. The Canadian dollar at 70.6 cents US, which is down a little bit from yesterday's close. We're still continuing to see a slow slide on the Canadian dollar. And let's talk about that barrel of oil again. Where's that after, again, the peace agreement with Iran, the U.S. still in the news?
Peace-ish, sort of.
Peace-ish. Yeah, it's kind of peace question mark. Anyways, $76.76 U.S. a barrel, which is up just a tiny bit from yesterday's close, but it's still way lower than it was just a couple of weeks ago when it was topping $100 U.S. a barrel. So that's continuing to kind of take some pressure off that world oil price. We're seeing that play out.
Still watching the gas prices here.
Yeah.
Hoping.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Join the conversation at 7-10-10 if you want to talk about anything today, including the World Cup of Soccer that we've been talking about with the game yesterday ending and that 6-0 win for Canada. We're hearing all of these rave reviews about Vancouver and the atmosphere there at BC Place Stadium. We're going to be talking to sports guy Steve, who was there, coming up a little later in the show. He's going to be joining us in the 8 o'clock hour. I'm so excited to hear Steve's firsthand account of what it was like to be in that room.
He was sending video from that, beyond capacity setting at BC Place and that sea of red and the red smoke in the air. And it was just crazy. It was, you know what? It was like it wasn't Canada. It was like I was watching a game elsewhere, and I was just so proud of the West Coast, so proud of Canada and what we've achieved so far. And you could say about soccer, maybe you're not following it, maybe it's a big hubbub for nothing for you, but this has become a big deal because of the way the team is playing. That's sort of the icing on the cake for us. If we were losing, it'd be a different story, but we didn't. And we won in a big fashion.
Yeah. Well, if you want to see the video from Steve, where can you find that, Lisa?
You can find. I was watching him on Twitter. Myself.
If you follow CFAX 1070 on Twitter?
Correct.
Yeah. That's one place to go check it out. If you want to see some of Steve's video from the crowd, and he's going to tell us all about it coming up just after the 8 o'clock Jazz Fest ticket giveaway, in fact.
Right.
Where you'll call in for the final 4-pack of tickets. You got to scat for us to do it. We're going to make you perform, but if you do it, you get a 4-pack of tickets today to Isaiah Collier, who's playing on June 24th as part of TD Victoria International Jazz Fest.
It's very cool.
So much to come on the show. First, though, here is the headlines, or here are the headlines. That's the one. Here are the headlines. That's the grammar with Lisa. What's going on in the news?
Grammar's so funny that way, isn't it? And the 42nd Annual Jazz Festival underway today. Concerts at a variety of venues. Bullen Park, of course, a big hot spot over here in Esquimalt. If you're looking for some free shows, there's also Beacon Hill Park for you. Tomorrow and Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30, a number of artists will be taken to the stage at that really sweet Cameron Band Shell. And you can bring up a lawn chair, bring a drink, and enjoy the jazz. If you're taking Dad fishing, the Victoria Fish and Game Protection Association is stocked upon with 200 trout for a free family fishing day on Sunday. That's at 700 Holker Place, so you have to make the trip up the Malahat for that. 1 to 4 Sunday, there's Wingstock, a fundraiser for the Victoria Firefighters Association. That's at the Roundhouse at Bayview Place. Tickets $92 with fees, but they will feed you well. The Island Radio-operated Car Club has something for Dad. Their scheduled race goes Sunday. That's at UVic's Student Wellness Center parking lot off Mackenzie Avenue. If you've never seen it, it's a real treat. All these sweet little cars probably pretty expensive units too, but very tiny size, going around the track, and there's sometimes crashes too involved. Summer solstice happens 1:24 on Sunday morning. We officially switch into the new season. The moment marks the official astronomical start of summer in the northern hemisphere, and it is the longest day for daylight that we're going to have. After that, the days slowly start to get, daylight hours start to get shorter. The talks continue between the U.S. and Iran, but apparently so far called off. Negotiators from both countries were scheduled to meet in Geneva today discussing implementing that 14-point agreement with the U.S. president, signed in France earlier this week at the G7. There's much hub about it then, but now things have sort of petered off. The White House says it looks forward to beginning talks again as soon as possible. No word on what that means for the Strait of Hormuz. And the BC SPCA Locks in for Love could use a little of yours. They have a lot of teams registered, but no donations could be a bit healthier. Today is Matching Donation Day, thanks to a $20,000 donation from Hills Pet Nutrition. It's a fundraiser to help local animals find new homes. You can go to BC SPCA Lock in for Love and pick the Victoria location so you're helping local animals in need. And that is your news to 717.
Thank you, Lisa. Texter at 71010 says, can you shed some more light about Ishmael Kone's injury in Canada's World Cup win over Qatar? That looked like a really serious leg injury, says the texter. Yeah, that was one of the moments of drama yesterday, and it was a bit of a shock to see when he went down. He had a little, collision or, a little scuffle with one of the Qatari players, and he goes down. And at first, I don't know if anybody really realized how serious it was, because sometimes the soccer players they go down and they do their thing, looking to see if they can get a penalty, and then they get up and move on. But he just wasn't getting up, and then it turns out he did break his leg, like a shattered leg.
Ouch.
They didn't replay it, and I think they did that on purpose because it was kind of gruesome looking. And I'll admit, I did see some of the images after the fact that you could go online and find them, and you see his leg just bent in a way it shouldn't be bent. It was really horrific looking. But I'll tell you, Texter, what happened next is he did get stabilized. He got put onto a stretcher. He got carried out. While he was being carried out, he was sitting up and he was waving at the fans. He was taken to they said a local hospital. So I don't know which one, but somewhere in Vancouver. Where he was able to have surgery. So he did have to have a surgery on his leg. It was that serious. Obviously, he's going to be out for the rest of this World Cup. But that was the situation with Ishmael Kone.
And a heartbreaking loss, too, for him, too, because obviously he wants to be with the team and continue on, but not with that kind of injury.
Yeah. But then the moment that followed that, while that was, really sad for him, sad for the team to lose him, lose Kone, the thing that happened next was amazing. The substitute who came on for him to replace him on the field for Canada was Nathan Saliba. Now, moments later, Saliba scores, runs over to the side of the field, grabs a jersey with Kone's name on it and holds it up with that sort of gesture of this one was for you.
Yeah.
What a moment that was. So I hope that answers your question, Texter. That's just what we know. He did have surgery on his leg. He's out, but a real dramatic moment yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I've been talking about how Sunday is Father's Day.
Yes.
But it's also National Indigenous Peoples Day, and celebrations are beginning already today at the Royal Roads Colwood campus, starting at 10 o'clock this morning. We're going to find out more about what's going on next. 7:22 here on the CFAX Morning Show with Ryan and Lisa, and it's all brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home, no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. They're designed for comfort. The South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. All right, on the roads, it's clear, no problems. No crashes, no accidents. We do have the ongoing road work at several spots along Cook Street, southbound Hillside to Bay, closed again for the installation of those bike lanes. They're pouring the concrete. And then there's that closure around about Pandora, causing a few delays. Although I think traffic is moving right now. I think that's coming a little later. For the weather, it's a mainly sunny day, highs of 24, cooler by the water, but feeling a little warmer with a humidex of 26. It's just actually kind of a delightful day, and that'll continue right through the weekend, which would be great news for things like Father's Day, but also for all the festivities starting today and lasting all through the weekend for National Indigenous Peoples Day on Sunday and the whole weekend, and we're going to get into that next.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Yeah, National Indigenous Peoples Day might be happening Sunday, but the stuff happening all weekend, including starting at Royal Road's Colwood campus around 10 o'clock in the morning. Things are going to really get going, and we want to talk all about it now with our guest, who is Katie Gates, Curriculum Coordinator with the Indigenous Education for School District 62. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great, Ryan. How are you?
Wonderful to get you here. So, first off, let's just establish this. National Indigenous Peoples Day. What's it all about?
Well, National Indigenous Peoples Day, this marks the 30th year of the actual recognition. And it is a day where we get to celebrate and learn about all the different cultures that we have here all over Turtle Island, and specifically here on the South Island, there are so many different nations. So it's a really great day to be able to get out, experience, be within community, and learn some of the traditional teachings.
And the Royal Roads University campus is often kind of a big hub of all this, right? And that's going to be the case again this year, this weekend.
Yeah, today we are kicking it off at 10 o'clock this morning with the Algonquin dancers, and then we have the traditional canoe protocol at 10:30 with Elder Butch Dick. Then we also have canoe races and various different activities happening on the main stage until 3 o'clock.
And where are the campus is this? Is it right down by the water?
It is. Okay. It is facing, we're all the way down in the water, kind of facing Esquimalt Lagoon. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm standing here right now, and it's super calm and quiet and peaceful.
Oh, nice.
It's just a beautiful place to be.
That's a great spot of the campus, and there's sort of that field kind of extending out towards the lagoon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're all here. We have there's a teepee set up, there's tents set up. Like I said, there's a main stage, food trucks, free fry bread. I mean, you can't go wrong there, right?
Ooh, you had me at free food. I'm sold now.
Is fry bread the same as bannock, Katie?
It is. It is. So there are various different forms of bannock. Fry bread is the one that literally is fried in oil and just goes down so good with some jam.
Love it. What year is this for this event being held here? Do you know how many years this has been going?
It is. That's a very good question. I've been on the planning committee for 4 years, but I believe we're sitting around 12 years that this event has been happening annually.
Yeah, because I get the impression that every year it gets bigger, and for a good reason.
It does. It does. And I believe it's the reason that the public are more interested in coming and seeing the great activities. And then, of course, it's always amazing to be here and participate or even see the canoe races that happen and being able to cheer on those canoes as well.
A lot of times with an event like this, so it's the feeling that you leave people with, and I know a lot of people are return customers, so you're doing the right thing. What is that thing?
Oh. I think it's just the community engagement in the field. There's always something new to experience, a new teaching to learn, or an activity that you want to participate in again. For example, Souk School District, we're doing a Lahal demonstration, traditional game of probability, and it is something that's really picked up in the South Island amongst the youth. So bringing students here, we'll have over 1,000 students here from all over the South Island today. And they're going to be able to experience the game, experience the Métis teepee, and all the various different partner groups that we have here today.
Oh, that's so cool. And I just want to also ask a bit more about the canoe events, because you mentioned that that's a big part of today's festivities. And there's you mentioned a canoe landing protocol practice. Tell me more about that.
So the canoe landing protocol is a traditional way of coming upon the shores of a different nation and letting them know that you're coming in good faith, you're coming in good intentions. And so there's different protocols. There's a specific way that you approach someone else's shoreline. And if you don't approach it in that way, it could be seen as an act of aggression. So this is a really wonderful way that the public gets to witness this type of protocol. It's not something that you get to see every day, because now with roads and whatnot, we don't travel by canoe in the waterways that like we used to.
Oh, that's so cool. So that's just one example of the many things that are going to be on display. You'll get to go see. Anybody's welcome, right? You can just come and check it out?
Anybody's welcome. There's no cost to come in. There's so much to do. And honestly, I think it is the perfect weekend to be out in community, to learn something new, and to really acknowledge the land and acknowledge the original owners.
National Indigenous Peoples Day is coming up this weekend, but the celebrations are going on today from 10 until 3 at the Royal Roads University campus, right down by the water, by the lagoon, as we've been talking about. You can come down and check it out. And we're talking right now to Katie Gates, who's curriculum coordinator with Indigenous Education for School District 62. Thank you so much for telling us all about it, and good luck with the events today.
No problem. Thank you, Ryan and Lisa. Have a great day.
Thanks, Katie.
All right, we're going to take a break as the 7:30 news is coming up next.
CFAX 1070 is proud to support the 42nd TD Victoria International Jazz Fest. 10 hot days and nights of the coolest music in town. The longest-running party on Vancouver Island brings you jazz, blues, funk, world, and more. Featuring free-to-attend outdoor performances, ticketed and cover charge shows, and free-to-attend workshops on stages across downtown Victoria and Esquimalt. The 42nd TD Victoria International Jazz Fest, on now through the 28th. Tickets on sale now. Details at CFAX1070.com and on the iHeart Radio app.
CFAX Victoria,
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 7:31 on Friday, June 19th. A sunny, warm day today, and in fact, that's going to carry on right through the weekend. The temperature in Victoria is 15 degrees. Let's talk about the news. Here it is, the 7:30 report with Lisa Best.
Well, leading with sports, Canada's decisive 6-0 win over Cotter in their showdown on the pitch at BC Place yesterday had downtown Vancouver filled with jubilant fans after the game. The Granville pedestrian zone saw the street packed shoulder to shoulder in a sea of red and white with colored smoke filling the air as the crowd chanted, stomped their feet, and shouted in the moments after the last whistle. Ryan is unpacking the game fully in Sports View. We're also going to hear from CFAX 1070's sports and soccer guru, Steve Young. He was at the game, live and in person. He'll be on at 8:20, talking about how Canada is now in position to secure a spot in the knockout round. In Ottawa, MPs have risen for the summer. They're a day early.
Canadians will continue to ask, where are the results, while the Prime Minister continues to hide.
When the spring sitting began, Carney had a minority government. But thanks to floor crossers and by-elections, the Liberals secured a majority in April. Asked if he's kept track of how many times the Liberals leveraged their standing to shut down debate, the government House Leader.
I have not. I have bills to pass, work to do.
Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
There are new questions swirling about the state or lack of the U.S.-Iran peace deal after Israel carried out more strikes in Lebanon overnight, and that planned signing, inking the deal in Switzerland, has now been delayed. ABC's Karen Hua has the latest.
It comes after the White House announced late last night Vice President J.D. Vance was postponing a planned trip to Switzerland, where he'd been expected to lead the next round of talks on implementing the agreement. The White House saying the trip's plans had not been finalized, calling the negotiations never simple or predictable.
An initial agreement was signed earlier this week by the leaders of both countries. New problems for that reflecting pool in Washington, a nearly $15 million innovation touted by the U.S. president. When Donald Trump first pushed for this project, he said it would cost $1.5 million and be done in about 2 weeks. Instead, it's cost nearly $15 million for the American taxpayers so far, and it's taken over 3 months. And now the blue sealant paint is chipping.
The companies that did the work to drain the pool, repair the leaks, seal and paint the bottom of the pool, and install a filtration system were awarded no-bid contracts worth about $15 million, despite having virtually no federal experience doing federal contracts. The project was completed last week, and for a couple of days, it seemed to work. But the water quickly started turning green.
We'll keep you posted on what color it goes next. And new evidence on the benefits of even short bursts of exercise.
You know, working up a sweat is good for your health, but figuring out the best exercise routine can be a challenge. To figure out the best way to get fit, researchers studied nearly 100,000 people, tracking their level of vigorous exercise and the risk of disease over time. Even brief bursts of physical activity like sprinting to catch the bus or a brisk stair climb made a difference, according to the researchers. Compared with people who did not do any strenuous movement, those with the highest levels saw up to a 60% decrease in risk of inflammatory conditions. The kind of exercise that makes you feel out of breath appeared to offer the most benefit, gets your heart pumping, and improves blood flow.
The European Society of Cardiology say a higher percentage of vigorous physical activity led to lower rates of disease and death from any cause. That's your news to 7:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking, do you use those loyalty cashback, discount, or points programs? Maybe in your wallet, you got the app. 30% say they have many, 65% have a few, and 5% say nope, don't subscribe. You can vote at CFAX1070.com or on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 7:36.
Thank you, Lisa. Right now we're looking at 15 degrees in Victoria. At least that's the official temperature at the airport. At the Cordova Bay area of Victoria, it's a bit warmer than that already, about 17 degrees. Yeah, so we're heading towards a nice warm day, sunshine, and a bit of humidity as well, making it feel a bit warmer. We'll get you the full forecast in just a moment. Right now, over to the sports. Real quick run through some of the local stuff going on, because in lacrosse, the Victoria Shamrocks had a 14-2 win over the New Westminster Salmon Bellies. The Shamrocks improved to 7-1-0 on the season with that win on the road last night. It opened up a 3-game stretch on the road. So last night at the historic Queen's Park Arena in New Westminster, and then on Sunday, they're going to be playing the Maple Ridge Burrards. And then on June 26th, a final stop in Burnaby before they come home after that. In baseball, Victoria Harbour Cats are hitting the road now after yesterday defeating the Redmond Dudes at home for the rubber match of a series. It was a 14-7 win for Victoria, and they sweep the Dudes with that result. And now they hit the road. They're heading to Port Angeles for the weekend. Toronto Blue Jays back in action this afternoon as well. They visit the Chicago Cubs for a 3-game series that starts today. Toronto capped a 3-game sweep of the Red Sox yesterday with a 4-3 win in Boston. BC Lions set to visit the Hamilton Tiger Cats tonight in CFL action. BC coming off a season-opening loss at Saskatchewan last week. They fell 31-27. Let's see if they can turn around tonight, and that game is going to be right here on the radio. CFAX 1070, your home for the BC Lions on the radio, including today's game. Now over to the World Cup of Soccer, where Canada earned its first ever win in a men's FIFA World Cup with a lot of style and a lot of points, too. Canada thumped Qatar 6-0. Powered by Jonathan David's hat-trick at BC Place Stadium right here in BC. Kyle Larin, Nathan Saliba, Jacob Schaffelberg also scoring for the Canadians, who sit atop Group B now alongside Switzerland. However, Canada did lose midfielder Ishmael Kone to a broken leg in the match. The Saliba goal that I mentioned, though, came right after he was subbed in to replace the injured Kone. Mark Carney, the Prime Minister, visited the team in the dressing room after the fact and talked a bit about that moment and the character that Team Canada showed.
It's in moments like that that you see character, a real team. He applauds the fans coming off. He shakes the hands of the Qataris coming off. Saliba comes on, steps up, scores. You hold up his jersey.
Canada set to play its final group stage match against Switzerland on Wednesday. So that's coming up at the World Cup, and that is your sports to 7:39. Hey, the CFAX Morning Show is brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. Designed for comfort, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. It continues to be a fairly easy day on the roads with no crashes or accidents. Very little volume out of the West Shore in towards downtown Victoria. Happens often on a Friday. I don't know if it's flex days or whatever it is, but we've got very little of anything on the local major routes. If you see otherwise, text me at 71010. No sailing waits at BC Ferries. And for the weather forecast, mainly sunny today, highs of 24, feeling a little more humid though. A humidex of 26, so it feels like 26 in the humidity today. Different story if you're by the water though. Near the Juan de Fuca Strait, 17 degrees will be the high temperature around about the region. Clear skies tonight, lows to 11. Tomorrow, sunny, highs of 20. A little breezy. For Sunday, highs of 24. Cooler by the water again. The temperatures climb up even more for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We get up into the high 20s in our long-range forecast for the beginning of next week. Right now, it's 15 degrees in Victoria, at least at the airport. A little warmer in some places. On the markets, checking how things are shaping up so far today. S&P TSX in Toronto down 68 points, now making a little bit of a dip to 34,900. The Dow Jones Industrials in New York up 72 to 51,564. The Canadian dollar is at 70.6 cents US, which is down just a fraction of a cent from the close yesterday. And the barrel of oil is up 27 cents, but it's still way lower than it was a little while ago at $76.87 US a barrel.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Lisa, you were telling me a little earlier off air before we started the show that you enjoy the trumpet.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah?
I love
Big
the
fan?
sound of it. I mean, Chris Bodie, Doc Severinsen, two of my strange favorites maybe, but I love the sound of the trumpet. I love when artists play with the sound and bend the notes. It's just, I don't know, everybody has, you love guitar. Yeah. I don't play trumpet. I don't play any wind instruments, but I do love the sound of it because it can be very brash, very bold, or it can be very, very slow, quiet, and sultry.
You can do a lot. It's very
Lots of
emotive.
Personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think most instruments can do that, but, everybody has a favorite, and I'm trumpet.
At TD Victoria International Jazz Fest, one of the artists who we're actually going to talk to in a few moments is going to be bringing us the trumpet, Ron DeLoro. Kind of sounds like this. Bunch of horns there because he's got the saxophones with him too, but
And a familiar sound too, in tribute to Miles Davis.
Yeah, doing a little Miles Davis there. Ron DeLoro Sextet doing Kinda Blue. That is one of the acts coming to Jazz Fest. This is going to be, I believe, both Saturday and Sunday night. They're doing 2 nights at Encore Victoria, and we're going to talk to the band coming up in just a few moments, Lisa.
Cool.
I kind of feel like, if somebody says jazz to me, this is what I think of. This is what plays in my head. This is jazz.
Well, he's also, that's him. Ron knows his way around the trumpet.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Scat jazz.
Yeah. Speaking of scat, we also have a 4-pack of tickets to give away to a different event. This is Isaiah Collier, who's also playing some kind of classic jazz on June 24th. That'll be just after the 8 o'clock news, sports, and weather. It'll be your final chance to win tickets, at least here on this show. So get ready to call after the 8 o'clock news and sports and everything. And if you scat for us, you'll win those tickets. So that's all to come. But right now, let's get to the headlines. It's 7:45. And here's Lisa. What's going on in the world?
Stats Canada says our retail sales rose 0.5% to $73 billion in the month of April. That was aided by increased sales at gas stations and auto dealers, while higher fuel prices helped lift gas station sales 5.1%. Overall retail sales were completely unchanged during that month when measured in volume terms. Sales of motor vehicles and part dealers also gained 1.7%, buoyed by a 5% climb at used car dealers as people get sticker shock over the price of new ones. Conversely, core retail sales fell 0.7% due to drops at food, beverage, and general merchandise retailers. Speaking of buying, Amazon Prime Day kicks off next week. June 23rd runs through the 26th. It's evolved in one of the biggest shopping events of the year. Competition is fierce, especially for lightning deals or flash sales that may only be available for a few hours. Apparently, they're, especially when it comes to things like electronics, tech, and home essentials, all big and all tend to have the biggest discounts. You can take them out of your cart later if you don't want them. I always add them to my cart and then they try to sell it to me, and sometimes they offer you lower prices. So there's a bit of a tip for you. Local shellfish warning as temperatures rise. BC Centre for Disease Control says these microorganisms that are harmful to us accumulate in shellfish in coastal waters when the mercury climbs. Harmful toxins found in mussels, clams, oysters, scallops, crab, but also cockles, prawns, squid, whelks, and other species that feed on the plankton can be affected and can make you sick. This shellfish contaminated with toxins cannot be made safe if you cook it. So that is good to know. Your symptoms, if you do happen to eat contaminated shellfish, appear anywhere from a day to 2 days later. And that is your news to 746.
All right, we're going to meet another Jazz Fest artist coming up in just a moment here on the show. Also, traffic and weather. If you see a problem out there, crashes, accidents, anything else affecting traffic, let me know at 71010. But I'll just give you a sneak peek right now. It's very quiet out there. Roads are looking pretty clear. But if you see anything, let me know, and we'll get into traffic and weather. And then a Jazz Fest artist meeting us next.
CFAX, Santa's Anonymous.
Hey, grown-ups, you know, the ones still kids at heart.
Through the Kids Count Children's Grant Program powered by CFAX Santa's Anonymous, local kids are getting help with summer camp fees, food security, and mental wellness support.
Where do you see kids needing the most support?
Access to healthy, fresh food through the summer.
Visit CFAXSantas.com right now and give directly to the cause that matters most to you.
Kids Count.
Powered by CFAX Santa's Anonymous.
To find out how you can help, visit CFAXSantas.com.
CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods this Saturday. So tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., the first 200 kids aged 12 and under are invited to decorate a free brownie for Dad at all locations. Because, of course, Father's Day is Sunday. On the roads, no problems. We're clear of crashes or accidents. We, of course, have the same construction problems, though. We've had all this week. Places like Cook Street, several spots are obstructed. So, watch out for that. Cook around Caledonia, or I should say Quadra around Caledonia, still with the gas main installation. But other than the usual construction delays, we are looking fine. If you see otherwise, text me at 71010. No waits at BC Ferries. For the weather forecast, sunny today, highs up to 24 degrees. Sunny tomorrow, highs of 20. And sunny on Sunday, highs of 24. It's just going to be a fairly stable weather forecast for the whole weekend ahead.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Yeah, we're meeting the Jazz Fest artists this week as the TD Victoria International Jazz Fest kicks off tonight. And for Saturday and Sunday, though, one of the acts we want to talk about is the Ron DeLauro Sextet doing Kinda Blue, doing Miles Davis. They got 2 nights this weekend at Jazz Fest, and we're meeting Ron DeLauro right now on the phone. Sir, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
I think the moment I happened to put on the music is actually the saxophone playing, but you play the trumpet. You are the trumpeter. Yeah. So
yes,
tell us more about your sextet here, and tell me more about what we can expect out of these shows.
We just arrived in Medicine Hat last night, so yesterday rather, and we're going to be doing a kind of workshop this afternoon on the terrace of the what's it called? I forget the name of it. Esplanade.
In Medicine Hat.
Yeah. And then we're doing a concert tonight. And tomorrow we head off to Victoria, another 3-hour ride to Calgary Airport, and then we're going to take the plane to Victoria. We have a transfer in Vancouver, so we're very excited about this tour. We've got Medicine Hat, Victoria, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary. This is the 100th anniversary of Miles Davis.
Oh, wow.
So the festivals out west here were very eager to have this project. We've actually been around for 16 years doing this.
Doing this very thing, this Miles Davis stuff.
We do very simply the entire album from beginning to end. And we open up our set with a selection from the sessions he did in 1957 with that same group before recording Kind of Blue, and it's all on Green Dolphin Street, and from the Jazz Track album. And Miles actually recorded more music in a 5-year period than any other artist in musical history.
Wow.
So he recorded many albums, a lot of music that was put onto albums and released in some cases a year or two after he recorded. So it's really something to do the research on all of this. I've read some books. I've done lots of, you name it, research in libraries, research on Chat GPT, and you get all kinds of stuff. And it's quite remarkable what he had been through from the time he cleaned up his act in 1954-55 when he went to Detroit, and that's where he actually met John Coltrane, Red Garland, Paul Chambers, and Philly Joe Jones for the first time, and decided when he was cleaning up from a heroin addiction. And these guys, except for Paul Chambers, were on heroin too. So the drugs that go along with this entire jazz history, especially in the 1950s, with the jazz musicians, was quite significant, because it had changed a lot of the course of jazz history, because of musicians that were fired, musicians that weren't around, musicians. I mean, it's quite amazing, It's kind of like the elephant in the room, So I'm discovering a lot of things, Miles included, but his drug thing didn't last very long, and then he got really serious really fast. So he went back to New York in 1955. He recorded around midnight in a live concert at Newport, which was like the turning point of his career, because that put him right back on the map. From that birth of the cool period and the hard bop, he started creating this hard bop school of playing, which eventually went into the modal school of playing with Kind of Blue, which was the ultimate masterpiece, which I believe started the course of changed the course of improvised jazz from that point.
And that's what you'll be bringing this weekend.
What we try to do is we try to, especially with myself as playing the lead role, I try to preserve the spirit of Miles's playing and do the themes as much as possible the way he recorded them. So it's kind of sets the tone for the rest of the musicians, and then everyone takes on that role of Jean-Pierre Zanella plays the role of Cannonball Adderley, and we have Yannick Rieur, who is replacing our regular saxophone player André Leroux, who's actually with François Bourassa on this tour, and Martin Auguste on drums and Ira Coleman on bass. So we're once we play the themes in the same spirit of the album, we kind of gradually start letting go and doing what Miles would have wanted us to do. In other words, be inspired by what this album did for each one of those musicians, that each one of those instruments, and then do our thing, respectfully.
Yeah.
So
improv.
And Miles would probably say the same thing. He would, if he looked me right in the face, he would say, "Don't try to play like me, play like you." you know. So that's kind of the thing that we're trying to do, you know. We're respecting Miles, but at the same time we're you know, I'm kind of bringing together my my 40 some odd years of playing jazz and respecting Miles at the same time. You know, so it's a lot of fun to do.
The album is Ron. The album's 67 years old, and so you know you have evolved. You said 15 years of playing it. Is that correct?
I'm 67. So
right.
I was
So
the
evolution
a year old when they,
is incredible.
The evolution actually it's timeless. You see, it's like it's sacred music. So whenever we do this, like we're treating it with respect. So we're you know, like I am trying to imitate Miles, but it's a style of trumpet playing that I latched on to when I was very young in the late 70s when I heard this music for the first time. It's like I said, wow, that's how I want to play. You know, it was like so inspiring. And then I gradually moved on to other inspirations too, like Freddie Hubbard and Chet Baker and Guido Basso, who I was very close to, you know, and other great jazz trumpet players like Lee Morgan and that kind of, you know, hard bop sort of trumpet playing that I really latched onto. When I was a kid, my father was a trumpet player, so he turned me on to a lot of Al Hurt and Harry James and things like that at the house. So I grew up listening to all kinds of trumpet players. So it's kind of a collage of all of these inspirations and all these and then I wear a hat. So depending,
You got the hat.
Miles Davis.
You got the hat. You got the trumpet. You're bringing it all to Victoria. I got to cut you off just because we're out of time. But Ron DeLauro, you got your sextet. You're bringing it to Victoria tomorrow night and Sunday night.
Okay.
Yeah,
great. Hope to see a lot of people there.
And it's at Encore Victoria. That's on Broad Street. You can get tickets for them, but there's limited seating, so don't wait if you want to go. If this sounds inspiring and you want to see this sextet play, like you said, the whole thing, Kinda Blue, Miles Davis, definitely check it out. Ron, it's been great to meet you. You're so enthusiastic about the trumpet and about the music of Miles Davis. I think that's going to be a great show. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Well, there we go. Okay, that's just one of the many acts coming to TD Victoria International Jazz Fest. We got tickets to give away to a different show. I'll tell you all about that coming up if you call in shortly. And scat for us, doing some jazz scat. That's how we're going to give away this final 4-pack of tickets. That's in our 8 o'clock hour. We're also talking about the World Cup, Canada's big win. Sports guy Steve / soccer guy Steve will be giving us a full account of how it was in the stadium. He was there. His story, his firsthand account is coming up in the 8 o'clock hour too. So stay with us.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 8:02 on Friday, June 19th. Let's get right to the news. And here is Lisa Best.
Good morning. Prime Minister Mark Carney on the West Coast yesterday for that little soccer game, plus bringing some money to BC. The federal and provincial governments teaming up, pledging $100 million apiece to build a new high school in Tumbler Ridge and also modernize that community's healthcare center.
BC Premier David Eby promised last month that students wouldn't have to return to the school, which was the site of a mass shooting in February. The Prime Minister says he and the Premier were in Tumbler Ridge after the murders of 8 people and heard from students, parents, and teachers, as well as first responders, on how to help heal from the trauma of the unspeakable tragedy. He says work on the new school will start this summer, beginning with the removal of the existing school. John Kennedy, The Canadian Press.
There are questions about the state of the peace deal between the U.S. and Iran after Israel carried out more strikes in Lebanon overnight, and the planned signing of the deal in Switzerland was delayed. ABC's Mary Bruce has more from the White House.
President Trump has made clear he expects Israel to get on board with this deal, but there is no question this is really testing the president's relationship with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Trump has been increasingly openly frustrated with him, even saying the other day, quote, "Without me, there would be no Israel."
Plans for the next phase of peace negotiations between the U.S. and Iran delayed. The U.S. Vice President's trip to Switzerland to ink that deal was called off at the last moment. Stateside in Washington, D.C., the National Park Service employees spent yesterday trying to clean up that Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool days after workers finished painting the bottom a blue hue. The water turned green with algae. Now the new paint is peeling.
Washington's iconic reflecting pool looking dirty and green less than 2 weeks after the president announced its $14 million renovation was complete. Workers could be seen wading through the pool to clean out algae and dirt.
I want my money back after seeing this. I think that it was a huge waste of money to begin with, and I think our resources could be used a lot better elsewhere.
No comment yet from the White House. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
93-year-old Canadian billionaire businessman Frank Stronach has been found guilty on 2 charges related to women in a sexual historical assault trial. The trial for Stronach began in February, where he pleaded not guilty to 12 sexual assault charges involving 7 complainants. After prosecutors dropped or agreed to acquittals on 5 charges and the judges dismissed another due to unreliable evidence, Stronach was left facing 5 charges related to 3 women. In a hearing today, Superior Court Justice found him guilty on 2 charges: for sexually assaulting a former employee at his restaurant complex, Rooney's, and indecently assaulting a regular patron of the venue in the 1970s. Stronach now faces a sentencing hearing scheduled for September, as well as a separate trial on similar charges. That'll happen in May of 2027. And many small businesses grappling with a whey protein shortage, as we like to beef up on protein, and that's pushing prices higher. Graham Crosby is a senior economist at Farm Credit Canada. He says because whey is a byproduct of the cheese-making process, increasing its production isn't so easy.
They're capital intensive. They require a lot of time, money to bring into production. So it's not something in the super short term that can be adjusted quickly to meet that additional demand.
One U.S.-based ag tech company says whey protein concentrate, the type used by food makers and supplement companies, is up 250% from a year ago. That's your news to 8:06. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning, we're asking, do you use those loyalty cards or apps for cashback, discounts, or points programs? 30% say yes, have many of them. 65% have a few, and 5% do not have any. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com or the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa Best, your news time is 8:07.
Thank you, Lisa. We are moments away from opening up the phone lines at 250-386-1161. Final pair, 4-pack of tickets to give away to a TD Victoria Jazz Fest artist. This one's Isaiah Collier playing June 24th. If you're willing to scat for us, that sort of freestyle improv jazz singing, if you want to do that, anything will work. We're not going to be judging here. We just want you to have some fun and sing for us. So
exactly.
Call us at 250-386-1161 in a moment when we open up the phone lines, and then we will get to that right after things like the sports here. Let's talk first of the World Cup reports as we look back at a big day yesterday.
This is your TSN Radio FIFA World Cup 2026 update.
I'm John Rodenberg. History for Canada, which scored its first ever win at the World Cup. Final score, Canada 6, Qatar 0.
There's Jonathan David! What a strike from Jonathan David!
A hat-trick for Jonathan David as Canada outshot Qatar 32-2 in its biggest ever game.
There's going to be 40 million Canadians that claim they were in the stadium today.
That's Canada's coach, Jesse Marsh, who also revealed that Canadian midfielder Ishmael Kone will undergo surgery for a broken leg suffered during the match. Canada and Switzerland top Group B after the Swiss beat Bosnia 4-1. Canada and Switzerland will meet Wednesday with first place in the group on the line. Other games from Thursday. Mexico moved to 2-0 and has already clinched Group A with a 1-0 win over South Korea. Czechia and South Africa tied at 1. Today, the U.S. meets Australia. Scotland plays Morocco, and Brazil battles Haiti. You can watch the FIFA World Cup matches on TSN, CTV, Crave, and streaming at tsn.ca. Listen on the TSN Radio Network with all games streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
There you go. And sports guy Steve, or should we say soccer guy Steve, who was there at BC Place Stadium yesterday, he's going to join us in about 10 minutes to tell us what it was like to be there for that moment yesterday where Canada won 6-0 over Qatar. So that's coming up. But hey, quick look at some other sports. I should tell you that it was a good night for the Victoria Shamrocks. They were on the road last night visiting the new Westminster Salmon Bellies. 14-2 win for Victoria. The Shamrocks now improved to 7-1-0 on the season with that win last night. It was the first of 3 road games. They're also going to be playing on Sunday. Maple Ridge Burrards will be the next match on this road trip. In baseball, Victoria Harbour Cats finished a sweep of the Redmond Dudes yesterday. A 14-7 win yesterday for Victoria over Redmond. The Harbour Cats now hit the road for a weekend series in Port Angeles against the Lefties. BC Lions are visiting the Hamilton Tiger Cats tonight in CFL action, and you're going to be able to hear the game right here on CFAX 1070. We'll be having the broadcast in the afternoon as we are your home for the BC Lions on the radio, and that is your sports 2810. Okay, let's do it. I'm opening up the phone lines. 250-386-1161. Call now. I'm going to make you scat for us. The little jazz vocalization. Give us that right after the break here, and you will walk away with a 4-pack of tickets to see Isaiah Collier on the 24th as part of Jazz Fest. Looking forward to hearing our final jazz contestant in a few moments. That's coming up. Right now, CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. This Saturday from 10 to 1, the first 200 kids age 12 and under are invited to decorate a free brownie for Dad at all locations. So that's at Thrifty Foods tomorrow. Sunday is Father's Day, just heads up. Okay, on the roads, it continues to be an easygoing day. There's not much happening on the roads. No crashes, no accidents, no volume delays out of the West Shore. It is just an easygoing Friday. No waits at BC Ferries, and the weather forecast is looking sunny with a high of 24, but cooler by the water. But a humidex of 26. So if you're inland away from that moderating ocean breeze, a little humidity making it feel like 26 degrees today. On the markets, well, south of the border, it's closed for Juneteenth, but for the Toronto S&P TSX, we have the markets down 41 points to 34,927, and the Canadian dollar at 70.6 cents U.S.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Well, we are going to give away some tickets right now to a TD Victoria International Jazz Fest artist. This time it is Isaiah Collier, who's playing June 24th as part of Jazz Fest. You want to go? Well, you got to do a little something for us. You have to perform a little scat. So let's get into it. Now, Lisa, I think you have an example to play for us of what we're looking for.
Okay. So one of the classics, right, was when Ella Fitzgerald forgot the words to Mac the Knife.
Yes, we've sung it. Oh, we've swung it. We've swung old Mac. We've swung old Mackie down. And for you.
There you go.
Just make it up. Just make up some, make some noises.
Have some fun with it.
Just make some noises.
Make your own lyrics.
Who is willing to do that right now? Let's see. Who's this? We've got the phone lines open, and who is this on the line right now?
It's Brian.
Brian. Okay. Have you been trying all week? Have you been trying for this?
No, I tried calling you yesterday, and I keep missing the number. And anyway, so I'm here now.
Okay.
Ready to rock.
Excellent.
And you know what you got to do?
Okay, so I guess I'm going to hear the backdrop now.
Oh, yeah, you know how this works.
He's
okay.
primed.
You're ready to go. I love this.
He's ready to rock in a jazzy fashion.
So I'm going to play for you the drums.
Thank you.
Yeah, rock, but not too much, because we want jazz. Anyways.
Oh, I'll go jazz.
Okay. Here is the backing track.
Heavy metal that I'm used to doing, okay.
Okay, well, that's fine. If it's heavy metal jazz, that's good too. Here we go.
Wow.
Here is the jazz track. Here are your drums. Do with it as you will.
Right on. Okay. Well, I'm here to scat skilly daddly doo. I've never done this, but I never heard you. I'm not sure what else to do.
Oh, that's all we ever needed in this contest. That is amazing. Congratulations. Let's
Right on.
Oh, Brian.
I'm still unpacking that, Brian.
Oh, there's a lot to analyze.
It's a lot to unpack.
Brian, you get the tickets. It's 4 tickets to this particular Jazz Fest artist. It's Isaiah Collier, who's playing some of that very jazz you were just performing for us on June 24th. So hang on the line. I'm going to get some information off you, and we'll get you the tickets. But, oh, wow, this has been a fun contest. Just kudos to everybody who was brave enough to call in and do what Brian just did there and give us a performance to win the tickets. That's been a lot of fun, Lisa.
Crazy. I like it. It was rock and jazz in the end.
That was exactly what he
on a Friday
said it was going to be.
That's right. It's a good thing.
Yeah. All right. Okay. We'll talk to him, get his tickets. Sports guy Steve joining us in a few moments with his stories from the World Cup yesterday. But right now it's the headlines with Lisa.
Nothing like road stories. Here's one. Royal Roads University and BCIT have announced a new partnership focusing on making it easier and more affordable for you to upgrade skills and get your credentials. Royal Roads will deliver programs at BCIT's Burnaby campus, while BCIT will offer programs at RU's John Horgan campus, which is situated in Langford. A joint statement says the agreement creates two-way pathways between the institutions, making it easier for students to build on existing credentials, move between programs, reskill and upskill throughout their careers. Israel and Hezbollah have agreed to a ceasefire to stop the fighting in Lebanon. That, according to multiple reports, it comes after the two sides attacked each other overnight, testing the strength of the U.S.-Iran deal that was signed by the U.S. president earlier this week, but the ink hasn't been finalized as it was expected to in Geneva, Switzerland today. A senior economist at Farm Credit Canada says the dairy industry, the cows, can't keep up with the demand amid global whey protein shortages. Consumer demand is outpacing supply in recent months. Prices have risen sharply and demand up 250%. Graham Crosby says because whey is a byproduct of the cheese-making process, making more isn't as easy as cranking up production. He says facilities that produce cheese are capital-intensive and requires significant time and money to bring production online. And Stats Canada says retail sales rose 0.5% to $73 billion in the month of April, aided by increased sales at gas stations and auto dealers. We know that because we paid the price of the pumps, while higher fuel prices helped lift gas station sales over 5%. Overall retail sales were completely unchanged in April when measured in volume terms. That is your news to 8:17.
All right. Congratulations again to Brian, who's excited to go to the show. We're just talking off the air there. I got a text message here at 71010. We just wanted to pass something along. Hey, Ryan and Lisa, any chance of mentioning the guitar show?
Oh.
I didn't even know this was a thing, but there's a guitar show tomorrow, June 20th. It's from 10 in the morning until 2 p.m. at the Mary Winspear in Sydney, and all kinds of luthier creations. So I guess like guitar makers are showing off guitars.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's from Mark. Mark, thank you for letting me know. I didn't even know that was going on. Guitar
that's
show.
Right in your wheelhouse.
It's right in my wheelhouse, and it just sort of fits the musical theme of the weekend with the the Jazz Fest going on. Maybe you could also check in at the guitar show. That's great.
For a new axe.
Yeah, or maybe you'll be watching some more World Cup soccer games. Sports guy Steve, or should we call him soccer guy Steve, is joining us next. He was there. He was there when history was made for Canada's soccer team, and we're going to talk about it next. CFAX at 70 traffic and weather. Easy going on the roads. No crashes, no accidents, and very little volume out of the West Shore. If you see anything else, let me know at 71010. We do have the road work ongoing on Cook Street. This is the same as it's been all week. Those southbound closures, Hillside to Bay, as they continue to pour the concrete for the bike lanes there. And then the ongoing work for the gas mains around, this is Quadra and Caledonia. A bit slow going there as well. For the BC Ferries, no sailing waits. For the weather, it is looking nice and summery all weekend long. Mainly sunny today, highs at 24. Humidex at 26, so feeling a little warmer. And then feeling cooler if you're by the water at 17 degrees. And then that's kind of the picture all weekend. Maybe just a bit cooler tomorrow with sunny and highs at 20. But then back to sunny and highs at 24 for Sunday. And next week, it's even warmer. We could get up to 28 degrees on Monday, Tuesday, and maybe Wednesday. We'll see how it goes. But there you go. Right now for the temperatures in Victoria, it's 17 degrees at the airport.
The windup in his first offering. Touch them all, Joe. The golden goal.
It's Sports Guy Steve.
Oh, my goodness.
What did you say? You heard me.
Here's Sports Guy Steve. Just a bit outside.
Oh, and you know where he was yesterday? He was there at BC Place Stadium as Canada won its first ever World Cup soccer match. History was made, and Steve was there to see it, and he's on the line with us right now. Steve, what of all the games you could have gone to in Vancouver, I think you picked the right one.
I think I did too. That was a good intro. Nicely done.
You kind of won the lottery, Steve.
I think so.
Yeah, I kind of did.
That is crazy. I think everybody's first question is just this: what was it like to be in the stadium? We were talking earlier about how the decibel rating, the noise rating, was louder than a jet engine at sometimes in that audience. They were saying. So, what was it like to be in that room?
It was so. I never used to get emotional about sports. Like, I do get more emotional when Canada plays than anything. Doesn't matter what sport it's in and that. But as I've grown older, I was almost crying when they scored the first goal.
Oh, wow.
The joy in that building, the joy I saw in those players' faces, the effort I know that went into that as a sports fan of building a program that's competitive, all that thing manifested. It's so hard for Canada to score goals usually. Remember the last World Cup, we had a real problem with this. Like, we celebrated one goal in a tournament, I think it was.
Yeah.
And to see one go on in home soil before my very eyes and the whole crowd erupting, I almost started crying.
Wow.
Were there people around you crying too?
No, there was a lot of high fives. I don't think everybody's as emotional as Steve, but
yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
It was like I'll never forget rising in unison to our feet because the whole crowd came out of their seat. It wasn't, like everybody was up and cheering. It was very, sometimes in certain sports stadiums across this country, the home team scores and we give them polite applause.
Mm-hmm.
This was incredible. It was just
off the hook.
It was very different, very, very different than most pedestrian events.
So
I'll just say it.
Those are the highs. Then there was the low. Then there was the broken leg, which is what it turned out to be, although it took a little while for us to kind of clue into the fact that it was a serious injury to Canadian midfielder Ishmael Kone. What was it like in the stadium at that time when everybody was trying to figure it out?
At first, the ref thought he was diving. Because the ref didn't react right away. And then because you're so where I was sitting, I didn't have eyes on it. And I didn't know what was going on, but I knew he wasn't faking. And when I knew there was a problem was when Estacio got close to him and called the bench, get here now. Which is always a horrible thing in sports because the players know when a player is really hurt. They know. And then it went silent because we're all sitting there. And I think he did a very key thing. As much as he's injured and everything else, he consoled some of his teammates. Then when he was, being carted off, he waved at the crowd. And we could all see this hand come up from the stretcher. And I just think that put the entire situation on more of an ease because, yes, he's a very key loss and everything, but we just wanted to make sure he was okay. And when he did that wave, it changed the atmosphere from the dead silence of the last 2 or 3 minutes to something, well, yes, we're upset. Yes, we're angry, but he waved at us.
So did you stay overnight? You just came home, right?
I was very proud of myself. I made it from the game. I left the game at about 5:10, and I was on the 7:00 ferry.
That's wow. That's impressive.
But what was the mood like in the city immediately afterwards? Like, what did you feel on the streets?
It was there was energy on the streets way before the game, so it just continued on. And it started for me on the bus that goes from the ferry to Bridgeport Station. They were doing Canada chants on the bus.
That's cool.
And it was individualized for certain players. And that continued actually in the game. Like, Richie, Lorray, Richie.
So everybody's just giving all the players chance. That was the atmosphere. That's amazing. Hey, Steve, real quick, I have a question here, which I don't have the answer for, from a texter at 71010. So just real quick. Hey, Ryan, if Steve has time this morning, can he explain why it wasn't a penalty shot when Qatar got their first red card in the box? That's from Ronnie, our listener. So, Steve, what's the answer there? Do you know?
So, Ronnie, what they ruled was that the foul occurred before the box. So, in other words, he brought him down on purpose, but because he was going to receive a yellow card for doing that. But because they ruled he was out of the box, then he basically foiled a good scoring chance on purpose outside the box, and that's a red card.
Okay.
So the ruling was that when they did the VAR that he wasn't quite, and we're talking like centimeters from the box. That's what they ruled.
And I guess it was confusing, too, because they ended up in the box, but the infraction started outside the box, even though they kind of traveled into it afterwards. Is that the reason? Okay.
That's it.
Okay, and
That's
one
what
more
they
question.
ruled.
I'm going to cut into my newscast time for this question. Was it enlightening in some way, relieving in some way to focus on our patriotism without mentioning the U.S.?
Yeah, we've always had a different patriotism at sports events, and I think it's bolder now. And I will also say it's more pronounced in the West than it is in Central Canada. Like, in that building, there was no negativity. Like, none. Zero. There was no, none of that stuff. Part of that was the way the game played out, but yeah, this was about us. It wasn't about anybody else. It was Canadian, and we're proud of our team, and we're proud of the way they stick together. So a lot of us have, been around too long, but the younger generation here knows these guys. Like, I had Gretzky posters. They have Kone posters. Like, they've grown up with it too. So it spans generations better, this team, than most teams will.
There he is, sports guy Steve, or should we call him soccer guy Steve? He was there at BC Place Stadium yesterday as Canada defeated Qatar 6-0, our very first World Cup win ever, and it happened on home soil. It happened on BC soil in Vancouver. Steve, thank you so much for sharing your stories.
Always a pleasure. Take
Thanks,
care.
Steve.
CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. Until June 27th, you can lock in for love with the BC SPCA Victoria and raise money to help injured, homeless, and vulnerable animals right here in Victoria. Until July 19th, downtown Victoria is alive with free soccer-themed events, live match screenings, and more. Details at downtownvictoria.ca. Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It is 8:32 on Friday, June 19th. Texter says, hey guys, there is a stalled car on the number 1, the Trans-Canada Highway at Tillicum heading north. So thanks for that tip at 7:10:10. Trans-Canada Highway northbound at Tillicum. Watch out for a stalled car. Over to the news. Here's Lisa.
Thank you. Only about a dozen wildfires burning in BC on the cusp of summer, which begins Sunday morning early for us. No new fires on Vancouver Island. The evacuation alert covers 742 homes in the Okanagan region. That's now been lifted. Emergency management officials in central Okanagan say the local state of emergency also lifted in relation to that recent wildfire this week, the Calamar Park Fire, which triggered evacuations near Kelowna. The BC Wildfire Service says the blaze is now marked as under control, though there may be lingering smoke. People are urged to stay out of the park. It remains closed. On the prairies, the Canada Museum for Human Rights in Winnipeg says the exhibit about displaced Palestinians is going to go ahead, despite criticism of a potentially one-sided story being told.
The exhibit opens June 27th and focuses on people affected by the Nabka, Arabic for catastrophe, when 750,000 Palestinians were forcibly displaced in 1948 during fighting over control of what is now Israel. Jewish groups have raised concerns about the exhibit, saying it could fuel anti-Semitism by not providing more historical context. They've also criticized the museum for a lack of consultation and transparency during the exhibit's development. The museum's Aisha Khan says it's important to tell the stories of displaced Palestinian Canadians and that the exhibit is being handled responsibly. She says the exhibit isn't trying to tell the whole history of the time and that the museum has committed to telling stories of displaced Jewish people in the future. John Kennedy, The Canadian Press.
And in health news, new evidence on the benefits of even short bursts of exercise.
You know, working up a sweat is good for your health, but figuring out the best exercise routine can be a challenge. To figure out the best way to get fit, researchers studied nearly 100,000 people, tracking their level of vigorous exercise and the risk of disease over time. Even brief bursts of physical activity like sprinting to catch the bus or a brisk stair climb made a difference, according to the researchers. Compared with people who did not do any strenuous movement, those with the highest levels saw up to a 60% decrease in risk of inflammatory conditions. The kind of exercise that makes you feel out of breath appeared to offer the most benefit, gets your heart pumping, and improves blood flow.
The European Society of Cardiology says a higher percentage of vigorous physical activity led to lower rates of disease and death from any cause. And some soccer fans facing steep losses even before they enter a stadium to see World Cup games. ABC's Jim Ryan has more on these ticket snafus that are keeping some spectators behind the wall.
Private reseller StubHub offers what it calls the Fan Protect Guarantee if there's a problem. And
it is a guarantee of a sort,
says Victor Matheson, a sports economist at the College of Holy Cross. Ticket buyers who run into problems are offered new tickets or refunds. But considering the scarcity of World Cup seats,
these fans aren't out money, but they're certainly not in a ticket.
And missing what for many may be a once-in-a-lifetime chance to see World Cup soccer in person. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Especially that game coming up Wednesday for Canada. And that's your news to 8:36. CFAX 1070 news poll question. We're asking, do you use those loyalty, cashback, discount, or points programs? You got the app, have you got the card in your wallet? 30% say have quite a few of them, 65% dabble, and 5% say nope, don't touch them. You can vote at CFAX1070.com, also on the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best your news time is 8:37.
Thank you, Lisa. Hey, we're going to get our Friday food vibes on in a few moments. Dallas from the Vic Food Guys is joining us in a few minutes to talk about some of the good things to eat or food experiences to have.
Or coffee, too.
And coffee is specifically on his mind, and he's even bringing us a coffee guest today. This is going to be a wild edition of the Vic Food Guys chat. That's coming up, so don't go anywhere. Right now, though, quick look at the weather, where it is sunny today. We have 17 degrees right now on the thermometer, and it's going to get towards a high of 24, maybe even feeling a little warmer with a humidex of 26. Full forecast to come. Right now, over to the CFAX 1070 Sports. In local sports, Victoria Shamrocks with a win 14-2 over the New Westminster Salmon Bellies last night on the road. The Shamrocks were at the historic Queen's Park Arena in New Westminster, the scene of their victory. The Shamrocks now improved to 7-1-0 on the season with that win. It was also the opening of a 3-game road trip, so they'll be playing next Sunday against the Maple Ridge Burrards. In baseball, Victoria Harper Cats are going to hit the road today, and for the whole weekend, they're going to be in Port Angeles to take on the Lefties for a series. But before they did, yesterday they had the final game against the Redmond Dudes. Victoria sweeps the series. They completed the sweep with a 14-7 win yesterday. Toronto Blue Jays back in action this afternoon, visiting the Cubs in Chicago for a 3-game series. Yesterday, Toronto capped off a 3-game sweep of the Red Sox with a 4-3 win in Boston. BC Lions will be live on CFAX 1070 later this afternoon as they take on the Hamilton Tiger Cats on the road in CFL action. BC coming off a season-opening loss at Saskatchewan last week, falling 31-27. Now let's talk about the World Cup of Soccer. I mean, I think everybody's aware of what happened, but it was a historic win for Canada. They earned their first ever win in the men's FIFA World Cup with style. Canada thumping Qatar 6-0, powered by Jonathan David's hat-trick at BC Place in Vancouver. Kyle Larin, Nathan Saliba, Jacob Schaffelberg, all scoring for the Canadians. I think Schaffelberg's goal actually got noted as an own goal by the Qatari team, but we all know it was him who put it in. Canada now sits atop Group B alongside Switzerland in their group, and that is your CFAX Sports to 8:39. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Listeners letting us know that there was a stalled vehicle on the Trans-Canada Highway northbound around about Tillicum, so watch out. It could be causing some delays, although the nice thing is there's not a lot of volume out there today, so there's not much traffic to slow down. Regular road work on Cook Street and on Quadra causing slowdowns if you're coming in to town and out of town, but otherwise it's looking like a pretty easy day on the roads. Text me at 71010 if you have any updates. The 9 o'clock sailing at BC Ferries from Swartz Bay to Swanson has lots of room left for vehicles, so no sailing waits there. And in the weather forecast, it's a mainly sunny day, highs at 24, maybe even feeling a bit warmer with a humidex at 26, but also feeling a bit cooler if you're by the water. So it's one of those days. And it's going to stay sunny and warm right through the weekend ahead of us, and it's 17 degrees already in Victoria. On the markets in Toronto, S&P TSX, it is down 27 points to 34,941. American markets closed for Juneteenth holiday, and the Canadian dollar at 70.5 cents U.S.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, it is a Friday, and it's time to do a little bit of this.
Eat it. Just eat it.
Come on, then, let's go.
Friday Food Vibes.
You ever think about what we put into our mouths?
All the time.
You are cooking
on CFAX 1070.
That's the cue for Dallas for the Vic Food Guys to join us, giving us reviews and recommendations. Dallas, how you doing?
I'm doing well. We got so much stuff today. We got a little bit of extra time.
Yeah, exactly. We had to get you on early because you not only want to give us some of your reviews and recommendations, you've actually brought us a guest who's going to talk coffee with us in a few minutes. So that's coming up. But before we get to our coffee chat and Dallas, a special guest, why don't you tell us about some of the things you've been trying recently that you want to recommend?
For sure. So first off, before I do anything, I just want to give a shout out to Ronnie. There's not enough time to give context, but shout out to Ronnie.
Okay.
So the first thing I want to do is mention that tonight at Ithaca, tonight and tomorrow night, there's a gentleman coming in from Greece. He's going to be singing Greek songs. So you get music directly from Greece while you're enjoying just, what Ithaca provides, the hospitality, the food, everything about it. The music starts at 6:30 tonight and tomorrow night. Call Ithaca and reserve your spot. It's going to be, if you haven't been or you've been before, it's going to be a spot where you need to be. So I implore everyone to experience it. I'm going to be there tonight.
Now, if you don't, sorry, I was just going to say, if you don't know, it's the Windmill Greek Restaurant in downtown Victoria. That one.
That's right.
Will the plates stay intact?
The plates, I've only seen the plates get smashed there once in the new location, and it's because I did it. So, although I will be there tonight.
And
so
they're inviting you
back?
back?
I mean, they're inviting me back. It's crazy.
All right.
So tonight, tomorrow night, for attention to people in North Saanich, Zach, who has a company called Elk in the Tide, is going to be doing a pizza pop-up at the Victoria Cider Company today from 2 to 6 p.m. and tomorrow from 12 to 6 p.m. And that's at 9635 West Saanich Road at Victoria Cider Co. So that's going to be really, really cool to check out. There's something to be aware of. On tomorrow, we got two events happening. One is called Sweet Street at the West Shore Town Center. There's a whole bunch of vendors at this thing, but it's all things that have sugar in them, basically. It's going to be sweet things.
Sweet Street.
11 to, a great family event. Tomorrow, 11 to 3 p.m., and that's at the West Shore Town Center. I love that event. I'll be there tomorrow for the start of it. But then I'm going to be over at Wingstock at 1 p.m. I've mentioned this before. The Victoria Firefighters Charitable Foundation is putting this event on. There's a few tickets left, and that's at 1 o'clock tomorrow at the Roundhouse in Esquimalt. And then we have one more event happening tomorrow with a group called 6040, who's holding an event on their farm. It's a really cool event. The gentleman is really well known in the culinary scene, a really unique thing where you get to go eat on this farm and, produce off the farm and all that kind of stuff. And it's called 6040. And so that happens tomorrow night. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff happening in the next couple of days here, a lot of stuff to check out.
So much going on. You got Greek singers at Ithaca. You got Wingstock at the Roundhouse. Man, it's a big, busy weekend. And if you want to find out more, you can follow Dallas on his Instagram page. It's the Vic Food Guys. That's the best place to go and see more about all of this stuff. But okay, we're going to take a break for the news, Dallas. But when we get back, we're going to call up another guest. Joshua Del Sol is from Level Ground Coffee. They, of course, big brewer of coffee and roaster of coffee. And we are going to be talking about something new they're doing, right?
Yep, that's right. No, I'm excited to get into this one.
Okay, that's coming up. But right now, let's get to the news. And to 8:46, here's Lisa.
News of an intrepid group on the road. The end-to-end cycling relay has finished. The 9 cyclists rode 1,000 kilometers around-the-clock trek within 48 hours. That's crazy. And they more than doubled the amount raised last year. Well over $272,000. The money will go to a very good cause, the Island Kids Cancer Association. 9 o'clock Saturday, there's a fundraiser on 2 wheels, this one motorcycles. Kick stands up for Veterans Life After Service Motorcycle Rally. Will start at the Veterans Food Bank on the West Shore Parkway. On Saturday morning, there is a registration fee of $40 that helps with specially trained dogs for those suffering from PTSD. The 42nd Annual Jazz Fest underway. Concerts at a variety of venues. Of course, Bullen Park in Esquimalt will be a hot spot. And also there's free afternoon shows at Beacon Hill Park tomorrow and Sunday. You can also take Dad fishing Victoria Fish and Game Protective Association stocking a pond with 200 trout for free family fishing day on Father's Day Sunday. That's up the Malahat at 700 Hoker Place. And in international news, talks scheduled for today between the U.S. and Iran still off. Negotiators between two countries were scheduled to meet in Geneva today to discuss implementing that 14-point agreement that the U.S. president signed in France and talked about at the G7 this week. The White House says it's now looking forward to beginning the talks as soon as possible, but no word further. That's your news to 8:47.
We'll be back to Dallas with the Vic Food Guys in just a moment and a special guest talking Level Ground Coffee.
An iHeartRadio experience. You and a pal in Montreal at Osheaga with 4 nights at Residence Inn downtown Montreal. Flights from Porter Airlines, 2 weekend gold tickets, and $1,000 cash. Please welcome Lord, Zara Larson, T. McRae, Somber, 21 Pilots, and more. Download iHeartRadio. Listen to this station for 10 minutes and enter to win Osheaga 2026. Every day you listen is another chance to win.
Hey, CFAX Morning Show is brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. They're designed for comfort. The South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. I don't know if it's still causing any kind of trouble, but there was a stall a little earlier today, Trans-Canada Highway northbound near Tillicum. I don't see any backups being caused by it. I don't even know if it's still there, but yeah, just something to watch out for potentially still. You can update us at 7:10:10. It was the only real unusual blip. We got the usual construction that's been going on all week on Cook Street and Quadra in Caledonia with the gas main installation, so watch out for those delays again today. And in the weather forecast, it's mainly sunny, highs of 24, a bit cooler by the water, but feeling a little warmer with some humidity in the air. It's a humidex of 26 today. And then it's cooling off a little bit tomorrow, but still sunny and warm with a high of 20 and sunny and a high of 24 for Sunday.
Eat it. Just eat it. Come on then, let's go.
Friday food vibes.
You ever think about what we put into our mouths?
All the time.
You are cooking
on CFAX 1070.
And we're back at it. Dallas of the Vic Food Guys is here. And Dallas, we're doing something a little different today because you have a special guest joining us on the phone as well. Tell us what's going on here, Dallas.
Yeah, so I guess the song should have been just Drink It, I think, maybe just for the segment right here. But we're going to be talking with Joshua from Level Ground about the new Roaster series of coffee that they have out, which there's 4 different ones. One cool thing about Level Ground, I think a lot of people have this misconception that Level Ground is some massive, conglomerate, huge company. And the thing that was so impressive when I've been out there and seen sort of how everything works is it's like a small dedicated team of really loyal, passionate people. And I was completely blown away by what they're able to do with way less than I thought they had. And for anyone that hasn't been out to the cafe out at Shawn Heights, they have a spaceship of a machine out there that does things to coffee I didn't know was possible.
Oh, the big fancy coffee maker?
I don't know what that thing is, but it's crazy looking, and it does things I didn't know you could do. So
maybe
going out to the cafe is a thing, that needs to happen.
Maybe we should get Joshua Del Sol from Level Ground Up on the line, and he can explain the spaceship. Joshua, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, everybody? Thanks for having me on here. Yeah, the spaceship it's a La Marzocco espresso machine, so it's a pretty fancy thing, but it's a little bit older than what you'd expect, but it's got a cool design, and man, it's just so reliable.
And so for Joshua, you guys made me aware that you guys had a new roaster series of coffee out, and
yes,
I wasn't fully sure, like. For people that don't know, what is this series that you guys put out? Like, what does this mean to you guys?
So this is sort of the culmination of a couple of different like on the ground tests that we did. We use our coffee shop quite often to test new products and new ideas that never hit the grocery store shelves or anywhere else. And over the last couple of years, we've done our best to find the right mix of like the blend between a high end product and sort of your everyday drinking coffee. To give our customers sort of an elevated coffee experience. This is the final push. We've done a couple of tests, and this is we've got our Anchor Roastery Espresso, which we've had for years. It's such a fantastic coffee. And then we have our Decaf Espresso. But then we've added two other what would be a little bit more adventurous coffees. One we try to keep a little bit more on the fruitier, sort of adventurous side, and then we have another one which is maybe a little more challenging to bring a coffee to people that they've never had before. And so those two are going to be rotating as we go by, but then we're always going to have our two Anchor Roastery Espresso and Decaf Espresso that we've got.
What do you mean by coffee people have never had before? Like, haven't we had all the coffees at this point?
Coffee is actually no pun intended, but it's a pretty fluid industry. There's lots of changes happening in terms of development and what farmers are doing at the processing level, because the coffee bean is actually a cherry, and they strip the fruit off and they take the seed on the inside and they soak that in some level of liquid for fermentation. It's usually water. Sometimes they leave the fruit on, and that's what gives coffee all of its flavor. But there's lots of I guess, innovation happening, especially because of climate change and all the different ways that people want to enjoy coffee. So the difference between an everyday drinking coffee, which is sort of what we have, which is a watched coffee, I won't go too deep into that, but that gives you your mellow, your really balanced and predictable flavors. But then with some of these other processing methods, you can get some really cool flavors. And they sometimes take coffee out of the it tastes like coffee realm. It can taste like fruit. It can taste like berries. It can sometimes taste like, I don't know, you can kind of use your imagination, but it's definitely not a coffee flavor that we typically know.
Huh. So for you, as the roaster, even before you even get the beans into roast, some stuff has happened at the processing level. Like you said, maybe it's been in water for a bit. Maybe it's been just left on the fruit. So there's all these different ways that it can be processed before it even gets to you, which affects the flavor. And then you get it, and you've got to do, I guess, different roasting decisions to bring it out.
Oh yeah, when a coffee is offered to us, we have a team of tasters now, and we roast that coffee to a light degree, and we taste it sort of in an open bowl called cupping. And when we taste it, we're sort of gauging what the coffee's potential is. Is it going to fit for everyday use? Does it have something special? And then the next decision is how we're going to roast that coffee. So we have to think of how we're going to work with it, which roast level it's going to achieve. And then we also think of who that customer is. And these special coffees in the roaster series, they're meant for coffees outside of our espresso, which is a very specific blend. But the roaster series is designed for people that want to try something a little bit step out of the ordinary. Maybe they have our Anchor Columbia Dark, but the Columbia that we have in our roaster series right now is a honey process, which really means that the fruit is left on for a longer period, and it develops this sort of really intense fruit flavor. It has a really bright acidity, and it actually gives a much different cup character that tastes like coffee, but with sort of non-coffee flavors, or at least coffees that you wouldn't expect.
Huh. Interesting. Dallas, last question to you.
First off, I love the term cup character. My question was going to be about what the honey did to that coffee. I mean, that must just be so cool for you guys when you have a potential for something like that, where you can do something so different, eh? Like, I don't know enough about coffee to know the realm of what you can do, but it's really cool to hear that, like, you can really go deep in this. There's always something new to explore, and I think that's really going to be exciting to people.
Yeah, it's the process when the fruit's left on, when all of us around the cupping table, because we taste a lot of everyday coffees all the time. When we finally get a chance to have that coffee offered to us, it's all smiles, man. We're so excited about that coffee, and it's so special. And it's like the coffee drinker's coffee or the coffee connoisseur's coffee, without being kind of pinky in the air type thing. We try to bring it down to a really approachable level, and that's one of the things too, that if folks can come out to the coffee shop and understand the coffee, we're happy to talk straight to people. We really want to bring people into the conversation and bring them around the coffee cup and just talk about what their experience is.
Got to sit around the cupping table. There's another term for you, Dallas. That's good.
Experience the cup character.
We're right at a time. Real quick, Joshua, where do you find the shop if people have never been there?
1757 Shawn Heights. It's just off Oldfield Road out in Keating Crossroad area.
There you go. It's Level Ground Coffee, and that's Dallas from the Vic Food Guys. Dallas, thank you very much, as always, for taking us on an adventure. That was a fun one.
Of course. Thank you.
All right, but we're right at a time. That's it for today. That's it for this week. For me, at least. Lisa's got your news coming up. Morgana Adby produced today's show. Thank you for that. We'll talk again on Friday. And happy Jazz Fest, everybody.